welcome in, folks, for another episode of the Next Shift podcast. It's Chris and Kenny here as the Bruins are about to drop the puck shortly against the Washington Capitals in one of their final preseason tune-ups. Been a couple weeks since Kenny, you and I were able to last sit down and chat. So glad you had the idea to do it during the game. Gives us a little bit of ongoing hockey to talk about. And, luckily for us, it worked out that Bruins went youth heavy in this one.
Yeah, I look at this roster and I kind of get a little excited and a little bit nervous for these guys because a lot of this is going to be make or break for a lot of the guys in the lineup. I also look at the Caps lineup and they're very NHL heavy. They have guys like Ovi in the lineup and they have Ryan Leonard and Sonny Milano, who's been a Bruins killer. Other than that, I'm excited to be back. It was a few weeks off, but anything to talk hockey. And usually we keep it within like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but this extends it a little bit and we have time to talk during the intermission. So plus
Oop, did I lose you there? Am I testing my internet a little too much over here? I think I lost Kenny here for a minute. Yep, looks like I lost Kenny here, and he is going to reboot for a second, and we'll work on getting him back in as soon as he can. But yeah, it's just been a couple weeks. I was doing a move. Here he is. Welcome back, Kenny.
There we go. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often.
I was going to say, I was wondering if I was testing the powers of my internet in this new apartment here. I'm not wired in like I was at my old apartment down the hall and upstairs, so it's been crazy couple weeks for me. I know you weren't feeling well last week, but I'm sick of the commercial break. I just want this game to get underway here. But what have you thought of Bruins preseason so far? We'll start with the local team a little bit here, and then we'll kind of venture out to some of the other hockey that's been on.
Not gonna lie, not really that impressed. Nobody's really blown me away for the rookie side. Anybody who's on that bubble, I feel like Blumel had a very strong first game and then kind of struggled the rest of the time. Minton, again, good on defense, very poor in the offensive zone, in my opinion. Patra, he's been, he's impressed me a little bit in the offensive zone, just terrible in the defensive end. Lysell, I see a lot of people talking up. I wasn't very impressed with the way that he played. Georgi Merkulov impressed me in his last game, but, if you're playing the fourth game, none of them before, it's a little, or third or fourth game, that kind of tells you everything.
Yeah, in my opinion, he impressed, but not enough. Like, there wasn't enough wow factor to say that he earned more. You know what I mean? Like, there's another level he could have gone to, and it just wasn't there.
What would wow me is consistency. He had an assist. I felt that he played very well. I mean, he's a guy that has that upside in the AHL where he could be a star and kind of turn it on, but that's just not what it is in the NHL level. So if he could put up another goal or an assist, or should say another assist or a goal in this game, I would be impressed because that's what matters. And I think that's the big thing with guys like Patra and guys like Lysell and guys like Merkulov is if you bring them up to be goal scorers and they're going to struggle on defense, then they have to score goals. They have to put up points. That's why they're here. They can't go 20 games without putting up points, opposed to a guy like Minton, who you're not really having him up here to score. If he scores, great, but he's more here to be a defensive guy. I think the Bruins would benefit greatly from an offensive player because this team looks like they're going to struggle to score goals. But again, I understand both sides of the coin, regardless of who they decide to play. So,
well, I mean, they're going to struggle to score goals. I think we all know that. Just the way that it's structured. I mean, you're top heavy. We've seen that before, and that's what it's resulted in as a struggle to score goals. I do like the way that they did the lineup for tonight, though. You have a couple guys who are fighting for some final spots. Beecher is with Kostelic and Tufte. That's a good set for him, but he's also playing down the middle, which is his strength. I don't think we necessarily need to see a goal out of him, but just like you said, consistent play Is he getting in on the forecheck? Is he being a pain in the ass to play against? Is he, is he playing what got him into the NHL? It consistently shift in and shift out. And then you've got Poitras with Steves and Blumel. Blumel, I think, has made the team given how much they've used him. And I think putting Poitras with him and Steves, two shooters, it gives Poitras an opportunity to really stand out and say, look, I can set up and make plays. And for Poitras' sake, I'm glad they're going up against an NHL heavy lineup because we've talked about it. Gail and I talked about it a lot last night. Poitras getting targeted with hits, whether they're NHL regular hits or not. He is getting hit, and hit more. So this gives him an opportunity to say, look, I can take a hit at the NHL level. I can stay at the NHL level and I can be okay. And I got these two guys who can find the back of the net. Whether they score or not, can he find the open guy and drive offense? That's what he needs to show. And then Merkulov, Hustadinov, and Lysell, I think this is the last gasp for Merkulov, as you were saying. But being with a skill player like Lysell and a speed demon like Hustadinov, it gives him a chance to say, I can keep up, I can do this. And being in a first line role, he's going to get minutes. And that's what he needs, is to show what he can do with those minutes. Lysell too.
Yeah, and I'll say with Beecher, I think a lot of people said, "Oh, he scored a goal that might have just saved his his NHL spot or whatever. It might, gave him another opportunity." And
that was my
honestly,
joke.
honestly, I honestly thought he played a very good game. Like, I think he scored a goal, but there was stuff that happened prior to that where it's like it's not shocking that he ended up scoring, because he was just good. He made a very nice play. I was very impressed with his penalty killing. He made a nice play on the PK, which I was like, wow, okay, he's coming to play today. So I felt he played a very good game. I think that having this first line of Merkulov, Lysell, Hustadinov is fantastic, but this is a line where you don't dump it in. You have to work it. You have to, on the rush, you need to make a play through center ice. You cannot just chip and chase because this lineup isn't going to be able to get there. That line's not going to be able to get there. And I like having Poitras on the fourth line with Blumel and Steves. I honestly think Poitras's done a decent job of finding people. There's been a few very nice plays. Again, that's what you want to look for. If he's creating opportunities, when he's playing with guys like Blumel, they should be going in at least, 20% of the time. Right? So that's not something that I'm too concerned about. You're right. It's just about, can he make the play? Can he make the pass? Can he drive that
It's also
offense?
not on Poitras. If he finds the open guy and the open guy misses the net, I mean, how many times did we see it with David Krejci when he had guys on his wing like, Danton Heinen, or, name that winger. We can play the name that David Krejci winger game. How many times did he set someone up and you're like, why didn't that go in? Oh, they can't shoot. Like,
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it didn't mean David Krejci sucked.
No, but last year I thought Poitras set up a lot of players like Coyle and Marchand, and they didn't score, and I think you could see the frustration kind of on Poitras's face, because I honestly felt like Poitras knew that his time was coming to the end if he wasn't going to be putting up points, and just there's some games where he could put up 2-3 points and they just weren't finding the back of the net, and I was frustrated. I'm sure you were frustrated. The fans were frustrated. It's like, how many times can this guy set up these plays and you're just not going to score? It feels a little bit unlucky, and I feel like the -6 plus minus is very it doesn't really tell the full story, because I don't really think
plus
that
minus never does.
I don't really think Poitras had a lot to do with 5 of them. I think one, you can make a case that, hey, he probably should have picked up somebody, but other than that, like the -6, also people talking about him taking these hits, he keeps getting up. People are saying it like it's a bad thing that he keeps getting lined up, and it's like, hey, listen, if somebody's gonna make a nice hit on you, that's fine, and it's gonna happen. But the fact that he keeps getting up and it doesn't look like he's playing timid is something that is impressing me, and that I think that's a step that last year I don't necessarily know he was gonna be able to fight through. But
Yeah, we got Chikrin going to the penalty box here. It looks like, did they call that interference even though it looked like it was boarding?
Yeah, they called it interference.
I mean, either way, it's the same 2 minutes, but still get it
Yeah.
right.
Bruins with a strong start though.
Yeah, a couple shots on net, and of course now you've got. I don't know why they're using Washington's feed for the game. It's annoying, but I'll
Lazy.
take it. We've got the power play going. Is that Lori on the wing lined up? Yeah,
I believe
Lori,
so.
Steves. Trying to see who
Lysell,
else is on this power. Of course, it's the
Merkulov.
Washington. So, you know,
I think it's Soderstrom, Steves, Lori, Merkulov, Lysell on the first power play.
that looks like Soderstrom on the left side
Yeah.
D. Is that where you're seeing him?
Yeah. 29, 21, 23, 42, and 6.
Steves. Yeah, of course they show the PK for Washington.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem with having their their broadcast.
But I mean, again, I'll take it over having no broadcast because clearly Nesson didn't care enough to send people.
Yeah. Oof.
But that one almost deflected in. It looked.
I saw that. Yeah. No. I have not been impressed with Soderstrom. I can't lie.
I think it's. I mean, he's gotten better. I think he's just readjusting to the North American ice, the North American speed of the game, the quickness. I think some time in Providence will do him some good. No surprise that he's getting the game tonight over, say, Billy Sweezy, who obviously is now down in Providence after the last 24 hours of waivers.
Yeah.
I mean, Soderstrom will get his time to go down, and you're giving him a chance to get used to it and adapt and try and make the team. I just don't think I've seen enough. And unless he really, really impresses this game, and he's done a lot in practice that they've seen that I haven't seen, I just don't see it happening.
No, I've also enjoyed watching Jordan Harris a little bit, so I feel like, Soderstrom has been a net negative, and I felt like Harris has been a positive, honestly. So I mean,
Well, the other thing with Soderstrom is, he goes down to Providence for a little bit, regains his bearings on the North American ice. As I was saying, like, you can always bring him back up. Given his pedigree as a former first-round pick, like, you want him to find his game, find his confidence, and hopefully be a staple on your right side in the future. Not even necessarily this year. He's still young.
No, and I think, like you said, he's gotten better game after game, which is what you're looking for, obviously, as somebody who is trying to adjust to this new speed and the new ice. Now, well, not new to him, but readjusting to that ice in North America and that NHL speed. It was just, honestly, when you look at it from the offensive zone, I felt like he's been decent, but defensively it's been a struggle, especially those first few games. He was noticeably poor on the defensive end.
Yeah, and let's face it, I mean, he's what, 23, 24 years old. He's not a version of Yanni Hakanpää who's got a trash knee and is 34, 35 years old, and you're trying to bolster the depth of your defense. Like, this guy is genuinely supposed to be your 7th, 8th, 9th defenseman, and so far he's, readapting in a way that looks like he can fill that role, and he'll fill it better in 2 months than he will today.
Yeah, and really, you can't lose, right? Because I don't believe Ryan Mast was going to ever be an NHLer. And
Not
you
with the
that in a
Bruins,
6th-round
anyway.
pick for Soderstrom. So,
Yeah.
I mean, can't really lose.
Yeah, and obviously I don't see them bringing in anybody who's going to compete with these guys off the waiver wire. I think they're just also timing some of it too. As I was talking to Gail about it last night, I mean, if you think about who they have to put down and decide between, that will require waivers. If you put 4, 5, 6 guys on waivers at the same time, and a team is looking at your roster to try and like snag a guy from you, you want to put them in a difficult position where, let's say they like Merkulov, Harris, and Steves, right? You put them on 3 different times, they're more likely to grab the first guy available, try to work them in and go with it. You put them all 3 on at the same time, they now have to pick, because if they win 2 of those waiver claims, now they have to make an unexpected move.
Yeah, and I think people are a little too concerned about some of our players getting picked up. I honestly don't think that Merkulov will get claimed if he gets sent down.
I thought you were
Not
talking about DiPietro there.
I'm also talking about DPHO. There's been some good goaltenders that have gone through the waiver wire that have not been claimed. So, and plus, you take a team like Edmonton who just got their goalie needs met with Connor Ingram. It's just, it's
It's
difficult.
not it's not going to happen. I don't think people realize just exactly what DiPietro at best is a third goaltender. He is not an NHL backup. If you are claiming him off of waivers, you are saying you are staking your claim. He is better than your current number 2 on your roster.
I honestly, I honestly can't. I really don't know what to say about that when I look at guys like Marcus Hogberg, who had a really good season last year playing with the Islanders. He was a decent backup, and he's not getting claimed. So, I mean, for
Well,
me,
he's
there's
also not an NHL backup. That's the thing is if you claim a guy like that off of waivers, he has to be on your NHL roster. Otherwise, you're exposing him back to the team that just waived him first, and then the rest of the waiver wire for you to get him through to your own AHL team. It's not like someone can put a claim in on DiPietro and he ends up in the American Hockey League anyway.
Yeah, I don't. I think both of us were on the same page where we didn't see it initially, and like now people are really getting upset, and we still don't see it. And honestly, if it happens, Providence will be fine. Obviously, you don't want a guy like DiPietro to get claimed. I'm not saying that I'm wishing that he gets claimed and is no longer part of the organization, but I am saying like if he does get claimed, Providence is going to be all right. Boston's going to be all right. But now Boston needs to do some work with goaltending for the future. They need to draft somebody. I'm a little surprised they didn't draft somebody late, but look who they drafted late. Kirill Yemelyankov. Guy's
Yeah.
having a crazy year. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Can't really blame him. So,
Well, here's the thing. You've got Swayman right now locked up for 8 years. You're really drafting and developing his number 2. Like if you are drafting someone to replace Jeremy Swayman right now, then that just tells me you don't have a lot of faith in Swayman or as much as you proclaim to have had when you gave him an 8-year contract. So that's where I would go. Why'd you give him 8 years if you weren't willing to die by the Swayman sword for the next decade? 8 years is basically saying we want you now for the next 8 years and probably past that. That's what you're saying.
you could still get a backup. I mean, you could get
Oh,
guys from
for sure.
Providence if you're drafted that late. You really can't go wrong. I thought that this draft, and obviously you know way more about goalies than I do, but I thought this draft was pretty loaded with goalies. And honestly, they went a lot quicker than I thought they were. I thought guys like
My feedback that I received from a goaltending expert scout was, obviously the core talent is there, but they all have it's a group that was clearly affected by COVID and their development has been slowed because of the time they missed from that. And so this group is going to need to see a lot more pucks, a lot more developmental time. And while some of them have high ceilings, it's can they actually meet that ceiling? That is the concern for quite a few of them. But here's the thing: you've got Corpusalo next year and the year after guaranteed. Like, is he more expensive than many people would like? Yeah, he's more expensive than I would like. But for your number 2 goaltending position to be solidified in an increasing cap world, it's you're fine. You are fine. Corpusalo is not the reason that you're not going to win the Stanley Cup.
I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that you still need to improve the depth. The Bruins
Yes.
had that depth, a few years ago, and now it's kind of,
Well,
disintegrating.
as long as you have Michael DiPietro in the organization, and he is signed for this year and next year, so you still have him going forward. Zazacek will probably be pretty easy to re-sign as an RFA when this season is over. It was a little bit more of an unknown, so you didn't really know whether or not you were going to need him beyond that. But he is 24 compared to DiPietro, who's 26. So, even when DiPietro's current contract is over, if you can carry the 2 of them next year, you have decent depth. And then Zazacek could probably be behind Swayman within a year after that. If you don't get an Albin Boya or someone else out of the NCAA that you have your eye on.
I mean, now you draft a goalie and he's playing in the NCAA and he has those 4 years. I mean, that's 4 years down the line. We're not talking 1 or 2 years.
I would still take one, but this year as opposed to last year.
So what do you do with Boya at the end of the year if you keep DiPietro? Are you trying to get him with the organization? Are you giving up? What's going on?
I mean, I got to see what happens with Zazacek, what happens with Kavalin, because Kavalin's also 24. He might be at his peak right now, that ECHL, AHL tweener guy, which is fine. But how long is he going to want to do that for you in Boston and where for you with Maine and Providence when he might be able to go do it somewhere else? Look at like Florida, for instance, the Everglades. That's a system that's proven to be, at least down there, he is now also competing for and winning championships at the ECHL level, pushing in a new up-and-coming now up-and-coming. They're not really a new organization, but the Charlotte Checkers with the American Hockey League. Like, it's a successful organization, So at what point does he maybe want to venture looking somewhere else if it's not with you? Boya is the type that, I mean, if you can bring him in, you certainly increase your depth. You got to do it. It's just not. It doesn't have to be your number one priority, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as Ryan Leonard just scored.
Yeah, I want to see a replay of this because it looks like it just kind of bounced around a little bit. They got a nice little bounce, but I didn't quite see how it fully unfolded here. Let's see. Soderstrom is in the front there.
Yeah, I think it's a little difficult.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, people are going to sit there. They're going to see the goal on the box score at the end of the night against Korpisalo, but that's kind of one where, Leonard earned that one. He's
Yeah.
in front with Soderstrom. Korpisalo's blocked by both of them. He gets a piece of it, and then the rebound just gets to an area that he can't get over there quick enough. That's an NHL goal by Ryan Leonard.
Yeah. Also, I thought that Soderstrom actually had decent positioning on Leonard. It was just a difficult deflection that gets through two guys and a goalie, and then Leonard picks it up on the back door. I mean, Soderstrom stepped in front of him. He had good positioning, so it was just a tough one. I think that's it's not.
That's a better goal to allow than John Beecher's goal the other night.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Oh,
I know people are going to sit there and go, "It's Korpisalo, he sucks." Like that goal itself is not on Korpisalo. It's just the bounce. Washington got the bounce.
Yeah, I felt like that was just kind of a lucky. They got the lucky bounce right there, and nothing you could really do. Sometimes those goals just happen, but and when you're a bad team, I hate saying bad team, but when you're a bad team, it feels like those bounces happen a lot more than I feel like they go in favor of the Capitals.
If you go back and look at the 2011 Cup run, though, you're going to have some bounces like that in your favor. You're going to have a couple that don't go in your favor. And like you said, when you feel like you're a bad team, the bad ones stand out a lot more. When you feel like you're a good team, you look at it and you're like, shit happens. Who cares? And people move on from it. But, I've run through most. I mean, we were talking about DiPietro before. I've run through the goaltending depth charts for most of these teams. I mean, I've done it for all the teams to some degree, and there's just no one that, based on who's already gotten through waivers, there's no one that jumps out at me as they're going to claim DiPietro because he is significantly better than their number two, and that number two becomes their number three. Like, it just the conversation might be able to be had about two teams maybe, and Other than that, every other team has reasons not to take him. We got Michael jumping in saying Patra does not deserve a spot over Steves. What do you think?
I mean, I like Steve's, but I disagree. I mean,
Based on just this preseason alone, I would say they're right on par with each other. The difference is Patra has two other seasons of tape with this organization of improvement that you have that you can work with, and like it just he also has the flexibility to play down the middle.
well, I also told you, like, the way that all of this kind of came about, I said it. Even if a player like Patra or Lysell or Merkulov, this could have been any player, really, could have been Minton as well. If they're even, if they are on par with one of these guys, especially the way that this season is going to go, you have to give Patra the nod. You have to let him get some NHL games in over a guy like Alex Steves, who, he's only signed for a year, I believe. So, I mean, I also believe that they kind of play a different role, right? I honestly think
Yeah,
Steves would be more suited for the fourth line, where Patra is
and
probably a top middle six guy. I would say middle
And
six.
Steve's hits unrestricted free agency as a Group 6 free agent when this season is over. Patra can go through waivers or can go through to Providence. He's waiver exempt. So, like, there's a big difference there. That's a differentiating factor, Um, I know we're talking about some players who were not worried about getting through on waivers, but Patra, that's a disadvantage for. Minton, that's a disadvantage for, because you can say go play in Providence for a month while we sort everything out up here, get your top line minutes, and we'll call you back up in a month once we have figured out who's the odd man out at the NHL level.
Yeah, and what I've
If
heard from NHL players, specifically, Jordan Schmaltz on his podcast, is that it's one of the biggest lies in sports. You're only going down for 2 weeks, and then we'll bring you back. That never works out.
If Patra makes it, do they trade Middlestead or Zaka before camp? No, they're in camp. Before the regular season, no. I don't think they're going to make any significant moves, like within the first 2 months of the season. I just don't see it. I mean, think about it. You've got Marco Sturm on a 3-year contract for this team, and this is year one of what they're deeming a retool. A retool is just a rebuild. Let's call it what it fucking is. It is. You're just rebuilding, keeping your main pillars. You're not tearing it down to the studs. You're tearing it down to everything but the studs. And so your McAvoy, Pasternak, Swayman, those guys were not going anywhere. I think everybody else is fair game under the right circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I'll also say, like, there's really no rush, right? This team is going to do what they do. They're not winning a Stanley Cup. There's no need to rush a trade or anything like that.
Look, if the right circumstances occur, they could be in contention for it. But the long shots, it's literally the bet that you're like, well, it's plus 10,000, so I'll throw $1 on it and win $1,000 if it happens to hit. Like, you're not throwing, $1,500 on it because it's a surefire thing.
Yeah. I like the next one. I said the same thing, Michael. Blumel has been blessed since game one. Yeah, I honestly felt the same way. I thought he came out very, very strong, and then, that's kind of been the back of everybody's mind. Not that he's been not good, and what Chris said earlier about him, he's been put in a lot of the situations. It seems like he's going to get a chance out of camp, which I honestly don't disagree with. Even though he hasn't been great, he's not proven in the NHL, but I honestly think he deserves a chance from what he's done in the AHL.
He's also been consistent. He's been solid, and he's been making plays. He just hasn't found the back of the net. And I think a game like this, if he can find the net in the back of the net in a game like this, that'll do wonders for his confidence as the regular season gets underway. All it's going to take is that first one. because he's getting shots, he's getting open, he's finding guys, like he's doing all the things that you want to see him do. It's just he has not scored.
I
He
like
scored
Patrick
once, I
taking
think.
that shot, but it was just not good. Those are kind of the ones that are aggravating, the one you throw right in the breadbasket. But
Yeah.
I'm glad he's walking in and taking shots where last year he would not even think about taking a shot in that situation.
Yeah, and I think I forget where I heard it, but one of the descriptions was that basically in practices, all the players, all the young ones are performing fantastic in practice. Then they hit a game and then it looks like they're overthinking. The engines are slowing down a little bit and it's just taking them longer to process what they showed in practice they already knew how to do. So that might also be what's going on with Blumel these last few games where he knows what to do. He's getting there. It's just, because he's thinking a little bit more about it, he's not naturally taking a shot and therefore he's overthinking the shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I will agree that Freddie Brunet has played extremely well.
Yeah, and I'll also say, like, I'm sure once these guys make it out of camp, there will be kind of that sigh of relief. I believe Blumel will be better during the regular season when he doesn't feel like, he's put against the fire. Once he makes the team, obviously you're still going to have to produce, you're still going to have to play, but you earn yourself a little bit of a cushion. You've also made the team. So you can take some pride in that. You can know that the team believes in you. I honestly think that's something that I look forward to seeing during the regular season. But I agree as well. Brunet had a very nice pass to Georgi Merkulov in that game against the Flyers. A nice little bank pass. Got the secondary assist on that. But yeah, no, Freddie Brunet's good. I think having him for another season in Providence would probably be the best for his development. And then next season, maybe have him play up. I think Brunet would be a solid, seventh defenseman right now. But why have him play only a few games at a time when you can have him in Providence being the number one pairing?
Yeah, that was exactly my sentiment. Is I don't know if he's made the seventh defenseman spot like in pen as much as say Gigi Lindholm Pasternak is in cement, as Dom said yesterday during the show, but he has certainly earned his look at that role. It's just he's not a 31-year-old player where what he is. He's still working to get towards his ceiling, and he can do that if he sees minutes. Ideally, those minutes come at the NHL level, but if he's your seventh defenseman, he's not getting minutes. He's sitting on the ninth floor, and that does not help him in any way, shape, or form.
No, and also like you said, I think there's still stuff to learn. There's still stuff to do. There's still ways that he can improve. So why not keep him down in Providence? And I know that sucks as a player where you're like, man, I earned it. I could potentially earn this spot. I wonder if you ask a player, would you rather be the seventh defenseman or you rather be the first guy in Providence? What they would say. It sucks, but I think it's probably the best for his development.
Right, and let's not act like his salary is going from an $8 million salary to $800K because he's in Providence. Like he's not getting that kind of pay cut. I mean, it'd be nice to get the NHL salary for him. I guarantee you he would prefer that. But at the end of the day, he's better off if he can get a few more months in Providence. As far as seeing Danton Heinen placed on waivers today, I think we're going to see some weird when it comes to other teams being, who they put on waivers and whatnot. Only one team, Pittsburgh, is the team that's really trying to actively not compete, I guess would be the right way to word it. Not necessarily actively trying to lose, but
yeah.
They're basically going to look to do what Boston did at the deadline last year. They're just going to look to do it all year long. We got a good piece. We got a good price. Let's sell it off.
Yeah, and honestly, Danton Heinen kind of makes me laugh a little bit because I feel like he plays his best hockey in Boston. I mean, he played in Boston, played well, moves on, plays like shit, comes back on a PTO, plays well, moves on, now gets waived.
Plays like
Same
shit.
cycle. Yeah. So
Yeah.
every time I see Danton Heinen leave, I'm like, dude, this is not a good decision. You need to play in Boston, but No, I mean,
Honestly,
well,
like Danton Heinen is the type of player where it's like, okay, because his salary is 2.25 for this year, and or actually, I think he's in the last year of his deal right now. Yeah, he's in the last year. It's 2.25 though against the cap. Like, I'm sorry, but if I'm Boston, I'm not taking him on for 2.25. I think
yeah,
he
no,
could help your forward group. I do think he could help your forward group, but I'm not claiming him off of waivers at 2.25. Like, I think that's
no,
Pittsburgh's way of getting him through the cap or getting some cap relief from, not that they need a whole bunch, but is your there we go. I was gonna say, was your quality of video output poor for a bit there?
yeah, for the game.
Okay. I'm glad it wasn't just mine.
No, it's just NESN being cheap.
Yeah, by not using their own feed and their own people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little dump in there.
Yeah, I mean, right now I've seen a decent play by Lysell cutting to the net, and I've seen a decent play by Potter taking a shot. But other than that, this has been a not a great period.
I mean, to be down 1-0 against this NHL heavy lineup for Washington is not bad, but it's there's room for improvement is, I guess, the best way to put it. That's a nice little trip from Asperot there. Asperot's another one who's surprised me a bit.
Mm.
I don't think he has a significant chance of making the NHL roster just because of the way the D is lined up, but he's surprised.
No, I've been very impressed with him, especially in the offensive zone. You can definitely see that he has that offensive mind. And I was talking to Jack Studley about this. He was like, "Oh, he's playing very well. Especially in the offensive zone." And I was like, "Yeah, I told him what Dom said about him playing in the left wing, and he was like, "Yeah, I saw that on Elite Prospects. I thought that was an error." And I'm like, "Apparently not. I mean, you watch him, and you can tell that that's kind of like a forward in a playing defense, the way that he is in the offensive zone." I just think that the D core was kind of basically made up already. Even the seventh spot, it was only going to be between a few players, and Asprot was just not one of those guys. But I said to Jack, I think this is good for Providence because there was a stretch last season where Providence didn't have enough forwards. They literally their fourth line was they had no center. So like having a guy that could do everything, especially with how big the D core is in Providence, because last year they had no forwards, but they had three or four guys sitting. So it's like on defense
Yeah,
they didn't
and
have
I
enough. So
think Brunei can also play forward too.
I I wouldn't, but I would love to see it.
I think he was for a while, but I mean, those are two guys right there though with forward experience who are excelling at defense. And oh, by the way, the Bruins have Mason Lohrei trying to make that move still too. He's just I mean, let's face it. Last year probably stunted Mason Lohrei's growth a bit.
Yeah, and it's
It's
unfortunate.
something he can come back from, but
Yeah, but
it
you never want to see that, especially for a guy who's already at the NHL level and has been so promising. The fact that that was just a tough season, and I know a lot of people like to pick on his worst plus minus in the league, but something that I always loved about Mason Lohrei, especially last season, was his willingness to keep trying things in the offensive zone, especially. He can
yeah.
make a mistake, but he had confidence in his skills to try it again and figure out what works. So I'm glad that, that didn't shake his confidence any, but, you'd hope that he'd be better defensively this season, which I think he will.
I think he will be too. I forget what I was listening to, but someone had reminded of the fact that they had put Zadorov with McAvoy at one point for a game, and I do wonder whether or not are they looking at that because they're still unsure about Mason Lohrei in that significant of a role? Because I wouldn't blame them if they are.
Yeah, it sucks because I honestly thought that McAvoy and Lohrei would be a very good pairing, but at the end of the day, the team's gonna have to do
So
something.
real quick, that awareness from Corpusalo on that save to know that it deflected off his pad and where it went, that is NHL goaltender awareness. That is awareness that DiPietro just does not or has not been showing. He has shown it in the past and he's shown it in flashes, but he has not consistently shown that. And if DiPietro's in net makes that initial save, I'd be willing to bet that goes in. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I just that replay kept going on, and that's where that's a save where I look at the two between Korpisalo and DiPietro and go, one's an NHL number 2, one's an AHL number 1. And that doesn't mean DiPietro can't come up for 3-4 game stretch and play well, because he absolutely can. It's just once teams start to see film on him at the NHL level, they're going to start beating him consistently.
Something that I wanted to point out from earlier that I completely forgot about, I saw Mason Lohrei playing net front on the power play, which was interesting to see, especially with that first power play group.
You mean tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some of it has to do with his offensive upside and his size. I mean, we saw them do that with Zdeno Chara. Not that he is Chara, but, you know, he's got some size to him. He's got offensive skill and ability. So, you know, try and get some banging around the front of the net with some big sticks in there.
I liked Lohrei on the point last season. Thought he's a good playmaker, but he's also a guy that takes risks, which when you're playing that style of power play, risks really aren't you're going to have to take them, but if you mess up, it's a breakaway the other way. So
I want Hampus on that top power play unit instead of McAvoy. Gail and I were talking about that last night, and I don't know what it is about the lefty. I just think the lefty doesn't broadcast as much whether they're going to make the shot or take the pass.
Yeah, I also think Lindholm is very skilled. So that's also another thing. And not that McAvoy isn't, but
let me put it this way. Hampus Lindholm will finish in the top 10 if he stays healthy when it comes to Norris votes this year. He will finish in the top 10. I don't think he'll finish top 3. I don't think he'll win enough votes to, you know, be in that regard. But I think, let's not forget, this guy is 2-3 years away from finishing 5th. And he's had injury after injury after injury. So, like, the talent is there.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question is just, like, can he stay healthy? Because we've seen it where he's just, on, but he's got to stay healthy. And honestly, I've been very, very impressed with him during this preseason. He doesn't look like he's coming back from injury. He looks very sharp. He looks like he's making the right plays, and he doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him. So that's,
there's been zero hesitation in his skating and using that leg. He has looked healthy, which was what you needed to see.
Yeah, I think I texted you. I was like, he's also, fighting through contact a lot. He's not shying away. He's battling. So that's definitely something that you want to see. This first period was brutal, to say the least.
It just painful to watch. I mean, they came out of the gate hot, but ever since they've gotten 2 shots on goal and given up 18. Like, Korpisalo is the reason right now why it's a 1-0 game.
I'm getting deja vu from our old streams where we stayed up until 1:00 watching the Bruins lose 7-2 to the Anaheim Ducks right now.
Yeah, Anaheim Ducks, the Winnipeg Jets, the Dallas Stars. We did that a few times last year. The good news, though, is this time it's only 8:15, not 2:15.
I know, thank God. Take the small wins.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. Just, like I said, I've been looking at other teams around the league, to see. I'm not surprised we've seen almost no waiver activity. I know some people were shocked when Phoenix Copley got claimed by Tampa Bay earlier today. And I saw that move and I went, nope, that one makes a lot of sense. But even Tampa, I don't see them claiming DiPietro because Phoenix Copley is an NHL caliber goaltender who can start games. And Vasilevsky's been injured, so they need someone who can start games along with Jonas Johansson, who has not been great overall, but he's been what they need behind Vasi. So, like, I just, Vasilevsky's supposed to start, I think, tomorrow and then start their season opener. It's just an insurance policy.
Also, you look at I've heard a lot around Clay Stevenson with the Capitals. I don't believe he's going to be playing tonight, but he's another guy that I think I've heard a lot of buzz around. People are waiting for him to be sent down because he's obviously it's going to be difficult to beat out Lindgren or Thompson. So he's another name that I think would be he's had a really good preseason. DiPietro hasn't had a great preseason. He's played one good period of hockey. So
I got another name for you. And I'll let you pick between the two, Ville Husso or Peter Mrazek.
Yeah, both
because
over DiPietro.
They're both with Anaheim, and one of them is going to back up Lucas Dostal. I don't see Anaheim carrying 3 goaltenders. I just don't see it. If they do, one of them's Cal Klang, or Damian Clara.
No, Clara's in the SHL again this season.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think we did talk about Damian Clara because he came over to the AHL last season. Now he's playing back in the SHL, which is a little unfortunate. I was excited to see my Italian with the with San Diego, but what can you do? I believe he's playing pretty well. He was in the SHL last season and then kind of struggled a little bit, went over to the Finnish Liga, and then finished up the season in the AHL. But now he's back in the CHL, which is, a good sight.
Yeah, he's back in the SHL, but he's supposed to play for Italy in the Olympics, if I remember correctly.
That is, yes, he was one of the 6 initial guys to be selected.
So we'll have to see how that works out for him. But, again, between Dostal is the starter. The contract also says that. And then Husso or Mrazek, they're not carrying all 3. They've got too much other talent up forward in the forward group and on the defensive unit to carry 3 goaltenders. One of them is going to go through waivers. They're not going to claim anybody off of waivers either.
Yeah, I think it's just like, why would they? They don't care.
Actually, let's do this little exercise. Let me see if I'm going to find... I have a pad of paper over here somewhere. I want to run through this waiver wire here, at least for goaltenders, because it's not going to be all that difficult. There's a pad of paper. Here's the one I'm looking for. Small pad. Of those 2, who do you think gets put on waivers from Anaheim?
I'm going to say Mrazek.
I want to say Mrazek too, but I feel like Mrazek has the experience that they'd want to keep with Dostal, but he has the 4.25 cap hit. So it would make sense because he would actually get through because of that 4.25. But we'll go with Mrazek as the one who gets put through.
I mean, let's not, Ville Husso has played a good chunk of NHL games as well. I know Mrazek's definitely played.
Mrazek has the playoff experience.
Exactly, but both goalies have that, that NHL experience. So
Boston, we know it's going to be DiPietro. And he's what, 880,000? Or is he 900K? Yeah. Did he crack the 900K? Oh, 812,000. Buffalo, they got Lukanen, Lyon, Levi, Georgiev. Pick two of the three. Levi and Georgiev are the two that are going to go down, and no one's claiming Georgiev. Like he's just too much of a risk. Calgary, they are committed to Dustin Wolf and Devin Cooley. Prosvetov has been a decent number 3. But again, I don't see anybody claiming him. Honestly, I don't even think he requires waivers, but I'll have to double check. Anderson, Kochekov for Carolina. Didn't they bring someone else in too? Oh, they brought in Caden Primo.
Yeah, he's definitely going to. He's going to Chicago. Had to think. I don't know. I kept thinking Charlotte, but that was the old affiliate.
Yeah. And then the Blackhawks, speaking of Chicago, Spencer Knight, Arvid Soderblom are going to be their 1-2 punch, as Laurent Brossoit is still on LTIR, I believe. I believe he's going to end up being on LTIR. There was talk though they have
Drew Comesso.
who is it? No, they have someone on the trade block basically. Yeah, Drew Comesso is going to be solid, but he doesn't require waivers, so they'll just throw him in Rockford. No, I think it's Lucas Reichel is supposedly available from them. I guess the question is what would it take to get him? And would you want to take a chance on Lucas Reichel? Okay, let me rephrase. What would you want to pay so you could take a chance on Lucas Reichel?
Yeah,
I mean, because if you turn down a chance to gamble on what was he a former? I know he was a first round pick, but was he top 10?
No, 17th.
Okay, I was just looking it up.
Do you want Georgi Merkulov? Would you like a Fabian Lysell by chance?
Oh, if I'm Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. Reichel was 17th overall in 2020.
He is NHL proven, Reichel, so.
He's AHL proven, 51 points in 55 games with Rockford back in 22-23. He hasn't really panned out at the NHL level yet. But he has the German connection with Marco Sturm.
I would definitely take that shot if they're willing to take Lysell and somebody small.
I guess that becomes the question. What is your highest price for paying for him?
Here, we'll give you Georgi Merkulov, Fabian Lysell, Brett Harrison. There you go.
We'll give you 3 pieces of crap for 1 potential diamond. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, I have no idea what I would give up. I have no idea. The Bruins have a lot of the younger guys that we have no idea. Maybe another team tries to take a chance on them.
Well, we know who you're not giving up. You're not giving up Pastrnak, Lindholm, Middlestat, Geeky, Zaka, Arvidsson, Janot, Corrali, Kostelik, Easimont. Those guys are all sticking around. Blue line, obviously, McAvoy, Lindholm, Zadorov. They wouldn't do it for Yoki Hardy or Peak and Swayman. Like, those are the guys that are not being mentioned in this deal.
I wouldn't trade Lohrei.
I wouldn't either. Not unless you're getting more than Reichel back.
Yeah.
If you were getting like Reichel and Teravainen back, then we could have a conversation about Lorai and another piece. But even then, I'm just not sure.
Oof. I hate saying it, but I might be willing to deal Patra.
I was just gonna say, would you do Patra for Reichel straight up?
I think I would, honestly. I think I might. You do give up. That's tough. I would give up Minton, definitely. I feel like I would rather give up Minton.
I wouldn't. I want Minton down the middle, and I have that extra time with Minton. Um,
I also believe Reichel can play. Has that versatility too, so he can play wing.
I was gonna say, would you do Murat Husnadinov for Reichel?
Yeah, I would.
Would you do John Beecher for Reichel?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
in a heartbeat.
Patra or Minton for Reichel. I think that's a conversation about which one do you value more.
I like Minton, but I think Patra's upside is higher overall.
I agree, but I also think Minton has a more secure place in your lineup for the future than Patra does.
For the future, I don't. Yeah, but it's also like Minton could be a fourth liner if so like.
That's what I mean. Is Minton at least has an NHL floor and an NHL ceiling. Patra has an NHL ceiling, but can you get him there is the question. And if he's not in your NHL lineup as a second or third line center or a first line center, you have nowhere else for him, especially if you're bringing in another winger. The name I would immediately go to is, let's just do Lysell for Reichel straight
I would
up.
do Lysell for Reichel straight up because honestly, Lysell has very slim opportunity to make this opening night lineup for me. I don't even think it really matters what he does tonight. Also, he is in that group B, which is not a group that you want to be in this late in camp. That's basically the
Right.
group that is going to get cut. I feel like people are making a big deal about Patra playing in this game as well and not Minton. Like people think that it's just the end of Patra's Patra's definitely going to Providence, which I don't agree with. They have I honestly like that they're on that fourth line because it kind of makes it feel like it's not really about them. It's not about Blumel.
Yeah.
It's not about Patra. It's not about Steves. It's more about the guys on the top two lines where you got Beecher and you got Husnadinov and you got Lysell and you got Merkulov. Like those are the guys who it's about. It's not really, people see that Patra's on the fourth line. They're like, oh, it's over. Oh, Patra's, playing in this game. It's over. It's like, I really disagree with that.
So I'm looking at your draft picks too, because if I'm Chicago and you're only offering Fabian Lysell, I'm asking for a draft pick attachment. But you've got an extra fourth rounder from Tampa in this draft. That's what I'm saying. I would staple that to him and just call it a day.
100%. I would definitely move Lysell for Reichel in a heartbeat. And you could put the fourth.
I would do Patra for Reichel hesitantly. Like that's one where I would sit there and say, get it into the league before I change my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely higher on Patra. I know what he can do if he can put it all together.
I know.
He's got.
But you got to give to get.
If you could give Lysell,
and by only giving, yeah, no, for sure. That's my number one. That's where I'd start, and I'd throw in the fourth just so I could keep Patra. I mean, think about that: Patra, Minton, and Reichel. Like that would be a decent young group to start having in your lineup here.
Yeah, I would like that. I am definitely, like I said, I'm definitely higher on Patra than I am at Mint. I think like Patra definitely has that higher ceiling than Minton. But like you said, I think Minton's NHL ready basically and can play on that fourth line right now as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Colorado's not claiming any. They're not doing any changes to their 1, 2, or 3 because they got Trent Miner in goal.
Yeah, nobody's Miner. Even if I don't know if he needs waivers or not.
I don't think he does. Columbus just solved their goaltending problem with
Fedotov.
Ivan Fedotov.
Yeah.
Dallas has obviously Ottinger and DeSmith.
I like that Fedotov move a lot.
So they're not.
I like that Columbus
Which
taking
was
a
not.
chance.
No, I do too. I think it'll give him a good chance to play in the American Hockey League significant minutes, see a lot of shots, get called up if he needs to be.
Yeah.
You know, they needed someone.
Plus, I
Detroit's
believe
got
Cleveland.
their own goal unless they're not claiming Cleveland. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was gonna say, I think Cleveland's also a much better AHL team, and also last season you see him with Philly, Fedotov, Kolosov, and Erson. They're basically just rotating Kolosov and Fedotov and just keep rotating and rotating, even though both of those guys weren't really NHL ready. So I feel like him being able to play in the AHL and still have that opportunity to get called up, I thought it was a great move by Columbus.
Yeah. I'd say LA might have to worry about claiming someone, but all they have to do is wait for their own guy to get put back. Once Copley becomes available, they'll get first crack at him. If Tampa waives them because they decide to go to Vasilevsky and Johansson, then fine. Otherwise, they'll probably just grab Johansson once he hits waivers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd want to do that to them because they did it to you.
Also, you do get a decent goalie in return.
You get a decent goalie, but again, they've already got Anton Forsberg and Darcy Kemper. They're all set at the NHL level anyway.
Yeah, so obviously they're not crushed about losing Phoenix Copley to waivers.
Yeah. Minnesota, they've got Wallstead and Gustafson, so he's not overtaking them. Montreal's situation is fantastic because they've got Kakinen backing up Montembeault, and then they've got Jakob Dobish, who didn't require waivers, and Jacob Fowler, who just started his ELC. Like, they're fine, and Fowler could get the call up before Dobish.
Yeah, Dobish is spectacular, so they are going to be set up for a while. That could be their 1-2 later down the line.
What, Dobish and
Fowler? Yeah,
Fowler Dobish. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my goal if I'm Jeff Gorton. Jeff Gorton is their GM. That's my goal. That's the 1-2 punch I'm looking for. Now, what I would be worried about, probably one team that I would be worried about if I'm Boston, as far as claiming that DiPietro, is Nashville, because Justice Anunin was the guy they traded Scott Wedgwood for. Hasn't been fantastic. They don't really have anyone behind him as far as their goaltending depth. At least nobody that really stands out. And because of his size, DiPietro needs to play similarly to UC Saros. And so having him behind Saros could really benefit him.
I mean, also, they could take that risk as well.
Right. Okay, so you have one. I will write them down as a team to maybe want a goaltender. Is the best way to put it. New Jersey has Markstrom and Jake Allen for another season. As my stream of the game here has frozen up.
You missed a Marat Husnudinov penalty.
I'm at 1935 frozen up, so
1902 Husnudinov.
Gotta love that
penalty. So
replay. It's just like they're play right now.
Yeah.
New Jersey has Nico Dawes as their number 3, and I don't think they've given up on him. Oh, was that Husnudinov with a high stick? No.
Tufte,
Who got the high stick in front of the net?
I think they could have gotten 2 on that.
Tufte in front of the net. Yeah. I think people underestimate just how good Sonny Milano is. I'm just gonna
Oh,
throw that out
he's
there.
so skilled. Like I said, he's a Bruins killer too.
He's a big game player. He has been. Um, let's see. The Islanders have what's their gold? They've got Sorokin, Varlamov, and Rittich. Varlamov is still
Yeah, they
hurt.
just sent down Hogberg.
That's why they got Rittich. Right. Hogberg is their 4 at that
Yeah, so
point.
he was already sent down, I believe. Already got through. So
Yeah, he's not going to be an issue. The Rangers have Shesterkin and Quick, and
they have Garand still, who
Garand. That's the one I was
hasn't
thinking
been
of.
great in preseason. They also still have Callum Tongue, and they have Hugo Olas, who is in the ECHL last year. I wonder who they're going to have as their backup in the AHL.
I think Garand would be the number 1 call up,
Yeah,
though.
definitely.
But with Quick and Shesterkin in the NHL, like I'm sorry, DiPietro's not taking one of those spots.
No, definitely not.
Ottawa doesn't need a goaltender. They're pretty deep too, with Marilainen stepping up and Mad Sogard, and they also grabbed Hunter Shepard in the offseason. So they've got plenty of goaltending depth, and I think Hunter Shepard's already cleared waivers. If not, he would be another one who would have to. We talked about Philly a little bit earlier. They got Dan Vladar in the offseason, Sam Urson. Kolosov was the other one.
Yeah, they also have 2 decent AHL goalies now with Yaniv Peretz and Keith Petruzzelli, 2 Quinnipiac alums, which was cool to see.
Yeah, Pittsburgh addressed their goaltending issues with Artur Shilovs. They got Tristan Jarry and
Murashov as well.
Bloomquist is the one I was thinking of. But yeah, Murashov is in Wilkes-Barre Scranton as well.
He's a very good player. So,
I mean, unless they plan on waiving Jarry and I mean, I guess DiPietro and Artur Shilovs over Shilovs and Jarry.
There's just no way. Yeah.
I mean, if Jarry's as bad as he's been, maybe, but even still, like, if you're Pittsburgh, you're okay with Jarry having another terrible season.
Exactly. The last thing you need is Michael DiPietro showing up and dominating.
Right. San Jose just brought in Carey Price so they could stay at the cap floor, but they got Nedeljkovic and they got Askarov. They don't really have anybody behind those guys.
No.
But they're not at a stage right now where they're needing a number 3. Like if one of their Barracuda guys come up, like it is what it is.
Yeah, so they have they just got Jakub Škodek, who was a goalie in Bridgeport. He was awful, but he has NHL experience, and I do believe he played against the Bruins last season. He was in goal for when the Bruins took on the Islanders, so he has NHL experience. He's not great.
Oh, I think I remember the name.
So,
yeah,
he was with Bridgeport for a while. He actually signed overseas in the Finnish Liga and then came back to the AHL in the same summer. So,
yeah.
on the power play.
Seattle's got Decord and Grubauer, so they're not looking to replace. I mean, they might be looking to replace Grubauer, but I mean that's going to end up having to be done via a trade, like. Because there's going to have to be some retention there. And they also have Victor Osman in Coachella Valley. Matt Murray, too.
Former Maine.
I believe they have the right Matt Murray.
Which one is the right Matt Murray?
Either one, I guess. Neither one have been fantastic for a while. St. Louis, they're not going after a goaltender with Binnington and Hofer being the conundrum that it was, and Colton Ellis already on the roster.
Vadim Zarenko as well in the AHL. They have 4 very solid goalies.
Yep, 4. They go 4 deep. We mentioned Tampa Bay earlier. Jonas Johansson, Phoenix Copley, Vasilevsky. They address their need.
Yeah.
And they also have Brandon Halverson in with the crunch. Toronto, I wouldn't expect them to claim DiPietro just because they have Woll, Stolars, and they brought in
Also
Reimer.
have Dennis Hildeby as well.
And
Who's solid.
Hildeby, yeah, because Woll is out for a while, so it's going to be Stolars's gig. And I don't even know why they brought Reimer in, other than the fact that they just don't know how long. I think they'll carry Reimer on a PTO, and they'll go Stolars and Hildeby as long as they can. As long as Hildeby shows that he can handle backup duties, they won't sign James Reimer. They will sign James Reimer to a contract as soon as they look at Hildeby's play and go, he can't do it. And he needs to go back to the Marlies. Because they can carry him on a PTO until he signs or until he signs with someone else, basically. Utah just got rid of Connor Ingram. They have Karel Vejmelka and Vitek Vanacek. Who do they have down in the Roadrunners? Stauber,
Jackson Stauber. Yeah, he's decent. They're good.
He's a decent. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about your goaltending third goaltender, Vejmelka and Vanacek, again, DiPietro's not taking the job from one of them. Vancouver, Demko Lankinen, he's not taking one of their jobs. And they have another one, Patera. That's who it was. Yuri Patera. They took him
former
back.
Bruin for a day.
Yep, former Bruin for a day. Vegas, Aiden Hill, Akira Schmid. He's not beating out either one of them.
No.
And they have what's his name? The Northeastern kid,
Whitehead. Yes, Cam Whitehead. We love him.
Cam Whitehead. He's going to be solid for the Silver Knights. Yeah, he'll be all right for them for a while. Washington tonight's opponent, Lindgren and Thompson, and Clay Stevenson was the other one that you mentioned. And then, is he really going to beat out Connor Hellebuck or Eric Comrie?
No.
So you've got
Nashville,
Mrazek, Georgiev, Primu, and Shepard, in addition to DiPietro, all hitting the waiver wire roughly at the same time.
Also Clay Stevenson.
And really, and Stevenson. And really Nashville, and we can throw Seattle in there if they don't give a flying fuck about paying Philip Grubauer anymore and sending him down. You've got maybe two teams who might put in a claim on one of six goaltenders.
Yeah.
I don't see DiPietro being – and DiPietro's nowhere close to the best one.
No, and it's like I watched Korpisalo in the first game, and I watch him here, and it's just like – there's just no way. There's no chance. Like, I can't believe people are still beating this drum about DiPietro. I mean, Korpisalo looks incredible. He looks like an NHL, borderline starter, which is what he is. But it's just.
I know people don't like his number, but they got to get over it because the cap is skyrocketing. I mean, think about it. Kirill Kaprizov just got 17 million AAV. I don't think DiPietro's $3 million is going to be a problem for you. It's just not.
Also, now
it's not the albatross.
Well, now it lines up at least. Like I feel like you're getting now where the cap is going. You're getting $3 million worth of work out of him.
Oh yeah, would I rather be paying DiPietro $812,000? Yeah, but DiPietro's not going to do the job.
Yeah, I'd love to have all of my players make $812,000, but then we would be a team of.
Well, you got to be at the cap floor. Okay?
But then you'd have a team full of AHLers and ECHLers. Like, you pay for what you get. And I feel like it makes sense now. So there's no reason to be beating this. I think people just see like top AHL goalie and they think like, okay, he's ready, which it's not the case.
They look at the numbers and they do the Squidward point and they go, NHLer.
I think people are definitely overvaluing and not for nothing. I really don't like talking about Michael DiPietro like this because he really is like, he seems like a good guy.
He's a great guy. He's a solid
And I love his
goaltender.
story, which is
But
what
he's
makes me
just
mad that people are like overblowing this. So now I have to come in and be like, no, guys, this isn't what's gonna happen. Like, it sucks. I hate it because I really
right.
root for Michael DiPietro. I hope he does end up making it to the NHL one day, but tomorrow's not going to be that day.
Are you? If they do waive him, I want to see him get claimed because that means another team is going to give him a chance that Boston just isn't giving him. That's exactly what it means. I just don't see it happening. Oh, I think I just figured out why my internet was so slow on the game. I had a Flow hockey game on from
Who are you
earlier.
watching?
It was a U15 team.
Canadian?
I'd have to go back and look. I just closed out of it. I don't remember exactly who it was. I thought I had paused it like an hour and a half ago.
U15.
And of course, now I got to find my cursor because the way I'm at my temporary desk right now, and so I've got my flat monitor on the left side here, but it's normally on the right side. So the cursor is on. I got to move it to the left to bring it to the right.
Oh, my desk is definitely makeshift. It's always makeshift. I literally have 3 boxes of just like the bubble mailers stacked up together, and that's where my.
By the way, we mentioned the Kirill deal. Jackson Lacombe signed at 9 million AAV. Luke Hughes
9.
is at 9 million AAV.
Luke Hughes makes more than
you
Jack
really
and
are
Quinn.
worried are
It's
gonna.
unbelievable.
I know. That's the funny
Ugh.
part. But the funniest thing though is and people want to bitch about the 3 million for Jonas Corposalo.
I know these guys, they play 1 or 2 decent years at defense and they're locked up for 9 years. I love it because that means hockey's growing and it's getting bigger and players are going to now have bigger contracts. But really, you can't.
So before we dive into that, because that's a point that I wanted to jump off of. I saw a tweet that Robert Thomas has scored. It's 3-0 St. Louis. Levi Marilainen has allowed 3 goals on 6 shots.
Jesus.
So not exactly a smooth start for him. Oh man. But you were saying about the signing and how quickly these guys are signing. We saw this happen. This trend started before the pandemic. Buffalo started doing it. And that's why everybody looked at Buffalo as a team that was on the up and coming so much because think about who they signed to long-term deals and they haven't gone anywhere with them.
It's tough. The Buffalo Sabres remind me of the New York Jets. Just not fun.
Yeah, that's a sore spot for you. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. At least I have the Boston Bruins. Sorry. At least I have the Boston Red Sox. Sorry. At least I have the Boston Celtics. Sorry. All suck. All are not going to be good.
Hey, the Red Sox are in the playoffs. I know,
they need
all
this
right.
one
My
tonight.
understanding is they won.
They need
What's
this
that?
one tonight. It's game 3.
I don't even know if they're playing
They
right
are.
now.
It's 8:00. So if our views are down, it's definitely people watching the Red Sox play.
I don't know. They can listen to us while they watch the Sox.
Damn right.
That doesn't bother me.
You're damn right. Tell them.
That doesn't bother me that much. We go for the audio anyway. Oh, did something happen to Simone Nemec?
Oh no.
It's all about the tweets, right?
I hope that's not true.
All I saw was Simon Nemec.
Hopefully that's a good thing, like he scored a nice goal or something.
I'm still amazed that this game is still only 1-0 though.
Yeah, thanks to Jonas Corposalo. He made a really nice save, but Boston's had a much better period.
Oh, look at that stretch. Side to side, perfect puck tracking. That's an NHL save right there. I don't know if you caught that one in regular time, but I would fully expect they show a replay of it at this commercial. Of course not. They're just going to show a hit.
No, because this is the Caps stream, so nothing.
Yep. Why would they show anything good I almost said the Red Sox. Thanks. You got me thinking about the baseball team.
Whoops.
No, now I got to figure out if something happened to Nemec.
I think the Devils are going to be a good team.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I thought that they were honestly contenders last year if they weren't so banged up. And they got injured a lot. And unfortunately for them, they got a really good performance out of Jacob Markstrom as well. Like, that would have been everything lining up.
Yeah, that injury to Dougie Hamilton really set them back quite a bit. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Oh, Mason McTavish got his big deal.
Yep.
A lot of young players are getting paid, and I got to say, you love to see it, but I hope it I hope it's a good sign for future things to come. Simply because I don't want to see a bunch of teams get scared off from signing big contracts to young players simply because a couple of them didn't work out.
Yeah, Nemec is fine. I think the Rangers scored because the shot went off of him and bounced in.
Okay. Might have looked like it was weird the way it bounced off.
I'm a fan, so
again, I just saw a tweet of 4 words, and when it's Simone Nemec, you got to worry about it.
Yeah. No, the Devils really
Or is he back to Simon? I don't know.
Simon, same thing, Brian. Don't matter.
Oh, they can't let that get out of the zone. Oh, okay. I found a little bit more from it. Nemec tried to clear it out of the zone. It bounced off a Ranger, and the Ranger scored. Right now, Korpisalo is winning player of the game, in my opinion.
That was a nice play by Poch. I don't know if you saw that, or you might be seeing it.
Ooh, I just saw betting odds for NCAA hockey national champion favorite betting odds. I want to see how many of let's see, this is the top 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the top 10. I want to see how many of the top 10 you can get, and if you can get them in the right order.
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan is 10th.
Okay. So
they are plus 2,000.
I'm going to guess BC.
BC is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are 6th at plus 1,300. Those are odds that I would take, honestly. Actually, probably not, just because they don't have Fowler anymore and they lost so many good players. I would want to see what they look like with half their team being Bruins prospects first, because some of them are so new to their organization.
Who?
I don't know. Even at 1,300, it's a good bet, but I just don't think they would be a favorite for me. I think I'd rather go Western Michigan or a few of these other teams over them.
I'm like, first I was like, who is going to be starting for BC? They have a goalie who has been there for 3 years, hasn't started once, in Alex Musilak, Jan Korik, and then they have this kid, Luca Cloutier, who they just signed. He's 2006. He was with the Steel. I remember that. Jan Korik, if Elite Hockey... Yeah, he's only played a handful of games. What is this? He's only played 7 games in his career, but he's been pretty decent. So I don't know if they're going to go with him. And then they have Luca Cloutier, who's decent. So... But he's also an 06, so I don't know if they're going to start him as a freshman. It's
going to be
BU
tough.
on that list?
They are third at plus 800. I like those odds better than the 1,300 at BC.
Okay, so we got to knock out some Big Ten teams. I'm assuming they're going to have Penn State on there because of Gavin McKenna. I'm assuming they're going to have Michigan State on there as well.
1 and 2. Penn State is 1. Michigan is 2.
Doesn't shock me at all.
BU is 3. Or sorry, Michigan State is 2. Michigan is 4. I'll give you that one.
So I'm assuming Michigan and Minnesota have to be on that list as well.
Minnesota's 5. BC is 6. 7 might surprise you. Think another elite prospect coming up in this draft.
Wow, they really put North Dakota on this list?
Right behind BC, plus 1,500.
That is crazy with all the young players that they have and a lot of.
I would take it though,
but they definitely have a lot of roster turnover.
At plus 1,500.
I'm just saying.
At plus 1,500, I'll take it. And then you got Western Michigan at 10, so you're looking at 8 and 9, 2 teams that you should absolutely know of.
Okay, well, we were talking about this earlier, so I'm going to guess Maine because they're still very good.
Maine is 9 at plus 2,000.
Just scored a nice one. That's one that you love.
Oh, I'm at the face-off. I'm at the face-off in the D zone.
You'll see it in a second. Watch this. This is like a John Beecher type of goal.
Ooh. Okay.
You love seeing that.
I'll take it.
You love seeing that. Battling hard to the net.
The problem is I don't – this is going to sound horrible, but I don't want Tufte to make the NHL.
No, wrong guy who scored. Wrong guy. But nice play.
Like if the fourth line was Tufte, Brown, and Kostelic, like that's fine. The problem is you have so many guys ahead of them that can be better fourth liners. 2 of the 3 should be in Providence.
I'm gonna be honest. I like Tufte. He's a hard worker. Not an NHLer though. He needs to be in the AHL. I think.
That's what I mean.
Tufte can score.
Tufte is a 4A player.
Tufte can pull a Dalton Bancroft type of performance tonight, and he's not making this team. So, because guess what? Dalton Bancroft had a Dalton Bancroft type performance, and he didn't make the team. So.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah. Poor Dalton.
I know that was a great game.
He earned it. You should know this last team though, between North Dakota and Maine.
North Dakota and Maine, those are the 2 teams. So this is number 7. What is this? 8, 9,
7, 8. This is 8.
I'm definitely gonna get it. You gotta give me a second.
If you don't get it, I will be shocked because they were. I want to say they were a Final Four team last year. We definitely watched a game with them together.
No, what would that be? So who was it? It was Penn State. It was
maybe they weren't Final Four. Maybe it was the round before. Maybe it was
because it was
they were definitely in the tournament.
Penn State, Western Michigan, BU, and there was another team, but
I'll put it this way. If I tell you what this team is, you're going to bash your head against the desk going, how did I not think of them?
Okay, then it's Denver, isn't it? It's got to be. They're always in it. Yes, they're always in it.
It is Denver.
Always in it, dude. I literally crushed that.
It is Denver.
That's crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, no. Denver's always there. Also, you can't you can't root against.
But Penn State's plus 500. Honestly, I don't like
I'm
those
not taking
odds.
Penn
I
State. They're
just
not a
don't.
very deep team.
That's the thing is there's no depth to them. Michigan State at plus 600, I would definitely take
Okay,
that.
hold on. I should probably clarify. They do have depth compared to other teams, just not in the Big Ten, right? They have
They don't have depth compared to a bunch of the other teams on this
yeah,
list.
no. Well, they just added Matt Godowski, who is coming over from Arizona. Arizona, coming over from Army. They also have Aiden Fink still. They have Gavin McKenna, and then they do have Jackson Smith, who is what he was Tri-City Americans in the WHL. He was 12th overall, I believe, taken this year. So he's other than that, like I can't really think of any other names. I'm sure they still have Charlie Serrato.
But
Unfortunately, they just lost Sergeyev too to Calgary, so they lost their goalie. I wonder, and I think I asked you this already. I think I said it on here too. I wonder if Sergeyev knew all of what was gonna happen after he left. I wonder if he would have stayed, because if they had Sergeyev, this team looks a lot better than they do now.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you have a chance to get to the NHL, are you really going to pass it up?
Did Boya?
You know what I mean?
Did Boya have offers?
Boya came back to Maine.
No, I know, but did he have offers?
Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between having an offer and having a good offer.
True.
Because I truly wonder, like, because if you're Boston right now, are you pushing Albin Boya to sign with you right away? Or are you saying, go back to Maine, crush it for one more season? We are still going to have interest in you next season.
Yeah, I mean, also not for nothing. Where was he going to play? You're going to send him to Maine? Like you probably weren't going to have him come in and play over Bussy or DiPietro anyways.
Or even Zazacek.
Well, yeah, now, but like at the time, you weren't going to have him.
Well, no, at the time, I think they were watching Zazacek and they had an idea they wanted to sign him. And so I think if you're Boston, you could look at him and genuinely say, look, you have a chance to go do something special up at UMaine. Don't be afraid to go do it, because we are still going to have interest in you next year. We want you to be a Bruin. We have this year planned out. We're good for right now. Go do your thing in UMaine. We aren't going anywhere. We will get you a path to the NHL when you're done in college.
Yeah.
But other teams weren't going to, like, could he have signed with Hartford and the Rangers organization? He could have, but they went with Tung instead. Like, at that point, it's like, are you going to jump into the Anaheim mix? No. Calgary's mix? No.
Ooh. I mean, they did get Sergeyev, and I thought that
was Calgary going to make an offer?
Well, that's the thing. We have no idea they did offer Sergeyev, so I don't know, but
wasn't he their property though?
I don't think so. I think he was assigned.
Didn't they have his rights?
He was signed. Hold on, let me see. Arseny Sergeyev. He was an ex-UConn. He played at UConn, Sergeyev, which was funny because then he beat UConn to make it to the Frozen Four. Oh,
he was a 7th round draft pick.
He was. You're right.
He was a draft pick. Yep, 2021.
You're right.
So they already had his rights. So they're not going to necessarily offer Boya over their own draft pick.
Nope.
He's not going to jump into Carolina and have a straight opportunity to the NHL. They look at what they've been doing to bounce around Peter Kochetkov for 4 years. Like, I'm sorry, but if I'm a goaltender, and once Kochetkov is gone and Anderson is gone, then I might have a desire to look at Carolina and say, I want to go there.
Wow.
But based on what they've done with Kochetkov, I don't want to go there. I don't know I'm going to get a chance to be a starter.
Grant Harrison just scored.
Did he?
Yeah, I don't know. They're talking about it.
They're celebrating right now, but
Brett Harrison cuts the front. No, that's definitely a goal. That's definitely a goal.
I'm waiting to see the replay right now. I think you're just a hair ahead of me.
Harrison shovels it to the front. He gets taken down, and then it goes off of Iorio's skate and through.
Are they reviewing it?
If they review it, it's still a goal, I think, because it's Faravari pushes Harrison, and then it goes off of Iorio's skate. So there really isn't. There shouldn't be. I'd be shocked if this came back. I don't think that.
That went off of
Yeah,
Washington.
exactly. I also don't think he was interfered with.
Iorio knocked it in. Iorio knocked it in. That's a goal. I mean, they can review it all
Yeah,
they want. That's
they
a
called it a
goal.
goal.
But you know what? Good for Brett Harrison. He needed a goal like that that rewards being a little bit more
And
physical.
yeah,
There we
that was a
go. I don't know
gritty.
why I was just able to jump
That was
up.
a gritty goal. Takes it to the net against an NHLer too. Martin Ferravari is an NHLer, and he takes it to the net and he gets rewarded. Good for him. That's what you want to see.
I know, but I'm so low on Brett Harrison at this point that it can't get me excited. Like I want it to get me excited. It just doesn't.
He's so far off the radar right now that I don't think it matters. I think this was it.
Oh, man. But he's still in camp. If he was that far off the radar, why is he still in camp? Is it just because of this game and they send him down tomorrow? I think so.
I think they're.
That would be
I
my
think
guess.
they're after tonight's game. They are going down to one group, so I believe everybody in Group B will probably be sent down unless you completely amaze tonight. I could be wrong, but I
don't
do think that
know.
they are.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be compliant. Like waivers, I think we were talking about it yesterday. Waivers have to be placed by Sunday at 2, so they can clear by Monday at 2, and they have to be cap compliant by Monday at 5. So if that's the case, I mean, do they really have to go down to 2 groups or go down from 2 groups to 1? They don't have to. I mean, there's a few guys that they can cut to get the group down to a much smaller size and still carry, instead of 4 lines, like enough for 7 or 8 lines. Like I don't know if DiPietro is going to get waived tomorrow or Sunday, but he's going to get waived down.
They might keep. Well, yeah, they will at that point. But if they end up, what I read, again, don't quote me on this, but I do think that the Bruins are deciding to go down to one group after tonight's game. Not that they have to, but I think that's something that was said, and I think that, if they do go down, I think that DiPietro will probably stay as long as possible with the team. He'll probably be moved to Group 1.
I can't. But here's the thing: I can't get excited about either of these goals. Like, it will be great to see if they can end up winning this game. Yes, but like, Tufte and Harrison are your goal scorers. When you have Minton, Patra, Blumel, Merkulov, like none of these guys are taking the opportunity.
I think it's hard to say that they don't take the opportunity just because they don't score. Like I've seen some good plays from Patra. I've seen some good plays from.
Good plays, sure, but they're not doing anything to snag the job.
Nobody has. I don't even think Blumel has. Nobody has. Like it was up for the taking. Obviously, some players got more opportunity than others. Patra, Minton, Blumel, all at the top of that list. But again, there's still another period to play. And Bruins are up, so.
Yeah, it just. I do worry about this. I do worry about this roster, man. I think it's going to be better than people anticipate. I was doing. Gail and I were doing the exercise of trying to predict our lineups yesterday. I don't know if you caught the show yesterday at all while we were going over that, but there's just a zillion different combinations that I look at and I go, I could see that line working. I could see them giving it a try. I don't know if that player is going to make the team or not. It's just so difficult to predict.
Yeah, and I wonder if it ends up not being just each individual player, being, staying or leaving. I wonder if it's like there's certain combinations that just work better than others. So that's what they're deciding to go with, but we'll see.
Well, that's the thing is they came out and obviously they've said they wanted Blumel and Zaka to be a pair. Blumel, in my opinion, has looked 10 times better when he's been with Casey Middlestad. I don't know why. They just seem to be clicking better. Blumel gets more opportunities, creates more chances. Like it seems to fit better. And they also seem to fit better when they have a banger on the other side, whether it's a Jeannot, whether it's an Isimon or someone like that. Like I wouldn't hate seeing a line that was Blumel, Middlestad, and Jeannot. But that's a third line. Like, but does Blumel at this point even fully make this roster? I think so. I think the way they're using him, they have every intention of having him on this roster. But
I'm gonna be honest. I've been I've been impressed with what Pacha's been able to do today. He's fed Steves on 2 breakaways. He's done an incredible job. Just again, not finding the back of the net. But once you start playing with NHLers, I think that's gonna be easier. They're obviously going to be more skilled. They're going to be able to score. I have not been impressed with Blumel. I do agree that they've been using him in every situation, and it does look like they have decided that he's going to be in the NHL. But at the same time, like if we're looking at just again, I'm not at training camp, but if we're looking at just the preseason games, I still think he's on the bubble.
yeah. I don't know.
It'll be fun to see either way.
I just don't know how they're going to come out with it. That's the thing. Like I could see Blumel on the roster. I could see him in Providence. I would be more surprised if he's sent to Providence, but not impossible.
No, I think it's definitely not impossible, but I can think of 5 occasions where Padres set up Steves for prime scoring and not even shot on net, including tonight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Padre is finding him. Like, Padre is. This is what's frustrating is like I feel like people are only seeing the stats for Patra, and I'm like, no, he's setting up players. He set up Blumel. He set up Steves. They're just not scoring. Like I've been impressed. I've been impressed with Patra.
No, I think this lineup is at its best when you have Matthew Poitras in it, based on the group that we have. He can go down to Providence without requiring waivers, and I can totally see this team and this organization taking advantage of that. I don't think they should, because they keep telling us about how much of a meritocracy it's going to be this year, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, are they going to pull the trigger on that? Keeping Matthew Poitras over, Tanner Jeannot. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I mean, I really don't know.
That's why the ceiling for this team can be so high, because they do have talented players. And the other thing too is, let's say you keep Poitras. Let's say you keep, Poitras, and you put him on a line with. I think he would go great on a line with Pavel Zacha, because he has. It's just, is Zacha gonna continue to shoot enough? He's got the shot to do it. Honestly, I'd love to see Poitras on a line with Brett Harrison. Like, think about that. The playmaker that you have in Matthew Poitras, the guy who can set up the shot, with the guy who can shoot the way that Brett Harrison can shoot. Harrison just doesn't do anything else. It's just so frustrating to see. Because then you see a guy like Blumel who does everything else, and then he takes the shot, and Steve, same thing. And then it looks like a shot that Chris Kelly took in 2011. Hell, you know it's a shot. You heard the shot hit the glass before you saw the shot leave the stick.
It's difficult, but I am really excited to see how this team shakes out, and then I'm excited for them to be a mid-tier team, honestly. My focus this season will probably not be on Providence as much because, you're doing a lot more with Bridgeport, but I'm excited to see how the Bruins do. I'm excited to watch these young players because last season, watching them in Providence, there's definitely stuff there. And same with Minton, even if he doesn't make the team, I think he still can. I think both players can. I just think Blumel has been in like you said, too many situations where it's like it really looks like they have already predetermined that he's going to make this team, and this is basically just kind of to get his legs under him. And I've loved what I've seen out of Patra. I think people undersell it a lot. I don't know what everybody has their favorite prospect. Everybody's going to be like they want Lysell, but I've been really impressed with how Patra's played, and everybody else. Do you mean
The Boston College Bruins?
No, the Quinnipiac Bruins.
BC is going to be fun to watch.
I saw that post. I saw you commented too. Everybody, they're packing the barn for Dean, dude. Nobody cares about James Higgins. Like, come on.
Yeah, who the hell wants to watch Higgins when they can go in and watch Dean Letourneau's first NCAA goal?
That's why I'm there.
Why do you think he didn't? Yeah, why do you think he didn't score it last year? He's waiting to do it this year.
They got to sell tickets somehow,
the anticipation.
They told Dean not to score last season. He left that out of all the interviews with Evan Baranovsky. He left it out that they told him not to score. They need to have excitement for this year.
Yeah, they need some sort of anticipation, and what they're going to do is they're going to end up throwing it. He's going to get the assist from Higgins to Letourneau, goal number 1. That's how they're opening the season.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking about buying a ticket.
You can't. They're sold out.
SeatGeek. What is it? $150? Nice, dude. To see Dean Letourneau's first goal, that's priceless. I'd pay everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that of course is definitely going to be worth it. Actually, no, they're on tomorrow though, right? ESPN Plus. Not even Plus anymore. ESPN. What's the new one? They changed it all around.
The good thing is that I have ESPN Plus, so you watch all the ECAC and Hockey East games, and then I also saw the I'm blanking so hard on the conference, but let's see, the NCHC just signed a deal with NHL Network where they're going to have a ton of games broadcasted, so that's cool too.
Yeah, because NHL Network is going to carry Gavin McKenna's first game
against Arizona State.
But let's see. Tomorrow you've got a exhibition game for Providence, and then you've got Quinnipiac, BC, Merrimack, UMass Lowell. That one actually might be interesting. I think I'd be curious to see if Austin Elliott gets that start. Then you got a couple games on Saturday, so on and so forth. NCAA season is here.
It's about time.
Quinnipiac, BC tomorrow. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, we're going to see Chris Pelosi and Elliot Groenwald play against the Boston College.
7 other Bruins.
Boston College Bruins.
Wow, you can really tell Nesson did not give a flying fuck about this game. They don't have any commercials lined up, and they don't even have their own pregame, in between period show.
They have people.
They are literally airing Washington's.
They have people doing the pre and post game show. Like, why would you not cut to that?
Right. Why aren't they doing anybody between periods?
Exactly. They have to be there anyways. Like, why would they not be doing the intermission?
They have no intermission shows. They're showing Washington's, and during commercials, they aren't even airing commercials. They're just airing the "We'll be right back" screen. Like, it's so bad. God, I thought they saved a whole bunch of money by cutting all their writers, but apparently not.
No, they're cheaper than ever.
Well, yeah, welcome to the John Henry family of networks. Why do you think they want to sell the Penguins?
Because they suck. No, I'm kidding.
Which, oh, by the way, good luck doing knowing that Sidney Crosby's not going to be there soon enough. Malkin's gone. Letang is gone. You just did the celebratory see you later
Fleury.
to Marc-Andre
Yeah.
Fleury. Like, good freaking luck selling the team that's about to not have them. Dom says the mice that turns the wheel for Nesson have gone on strike. That's why you have the Caps feed.
Oh,
It must have been part of that government shutdown.
oh, crazy.
Have you, speaking actually with Dom chiming in, have you had a chance to watch any of the USHL, the OHL, any of those games that have been going on at all? I've been moving, so I think I've caught maybe 1 or 2 games in total, and they were all like a week and a half ago.
Before I got blocked on everything, Dom and I were having a nice conversation during the BNG podcast about the game that we watched, and I texted you about it, where Carter George and Ben Hrabic were against each other, and I was like, "Oh, I think I commented, I was like, "Oh, Ben Hrabic made 49 saves," and then Dom corrected me, said, "No, he made 50." I was like, "Sorry, I don't mean to undersell him. He had a great game, but yeah." So right there, that was the
So you've joined the fun list, huh?
yeah. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
No worries. Welcome to the club is all I gotta say.
I know. The list is pretty extensive from what I've read, from what I've seen from people reaching out.
Yep.
So just good times.
Oh man. Well, we've got 1 period left here. I worry that the Bruins aren't going to be able to hang on to this one just because, through no fault of his own, I feel like Korpisalo is due to just have one more go past him. He has done everything to keep them in this game. And usually in those games, your goalie gives up 2.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, unless Korpisalo completely breaks down, like, this game will not be on him by any stretch. So
No, not at all. But I mean, can you really count on Riley Tufte to score another goal? Or Brett Harrison?
yeah, you're damn right. Brett Harrison, hat trick incoming. Place the bet down now.
Hrabic was Dom's runner-up for goalie of the month for September. I mean, with a performance like that, yeah, that's got to be a good one.
It was definitely a goalies duel because they had Carter George was on the other side too. It was a good game. Unfortunately, Owen Sound ended up winning the game, but
you say unfortunately, like you really care who won.
I was crushed. I really was.
I bet.
I actually like.
I really bet.
Like I said, I was not an OHL person. I was not a CHL person. I just picked a few teams, and then Owen Sound was one of them. I really liked their jersey, so I was like, cool. I'm an Owen Sound fan now. If I got to pick, if anybody ever asks. So.
You got to pick a team to have a rooting interest, right?
Exactly. Also, that was the first game that Kayshawn Aitchison was back. I know a lot of the Islanders fans were a little worried since he took a big hit in one of the games and he ended up leaving. So he's back on the ice.
I'm curious to see if either you or Dom have any concerns over the fact that the London Knights have started 0-2.
I was watching one of those games too. They lost in overtime, right? I think they did. They lost in overtime to like Owen Sound or something because I was watching that game.
Dom says it was nice to see Harrison drive the net for once. I think the last time I saw that was 2018. Yeah, Dom, as soon as that goal went in, we wanted to be super excited for Harrison. The problem is he just doesn't do it enough. And you know me, I want to give the guy as much opportunity as I can. It's just, I mean, at this point, if I'm Boston, when this ELC is over, I'm not extending him.
Yeah, no, I mean, Listen, I'm happy for him, and shout out his dad who follows me on Twitter, which is very very appreciated. But I don't really know.
I hope they re-sign him.
I love him. Brett Harrison's my my favorite player, but it's
Look, again, as Dom and I always have said, like we are going to give you the straight up
yeah.
honest truth here. Like I got no reason to BS anybody. I want the kid to succeed. I really, really do. His shot is absolutely incredible. He's got all the tools. He's got to go buy the damn toolbox and put them all in. It doesn't do you any good to have all the tools scattered around your shed when you need to go to the job site. It doesn't. It just doesn't do any good. I don't know if you just got this tweet, but from Frank Saravalli, the Carolina Hurricanes will not be signing either Michael McLeod or Carter Hart.
someone said Carter Hart to Vegas or something like that earlier.
I've heard that too. I don't see Vegas doing it. I don't. I think they looked at it, absolutely. I think they've backed off completely from it though. Like it
None
just
of these guys are worth the PR nightmare, honestly. Just not worth the trouble, especially
no.
being so far out. Like these guys were borderline NHLers at the time, except for Carter Hart, but now it's 3 years later. Like the fact that Michael McLeod's name even came up is kind of like why, but I
Look, if you're desperate for talent and you want to bring them in on a PTO to see what they've got, like from a hockey strictly only standpoint, I can understand you looking at them going, well, because if that's the case, then you're going to look at every single player out there. I mean, think about what NFL teams do. Guys get charged with murder and they still get re-signed. So, like, at the end of the day, if you're going to look at it from a perspective of just on the ice, none of the other stuff matters. So I can understand PTOs on anybody. But at that point, I don't see enough in any of their games to be worth an ELC or a contract right now. I'm trying to pull up Dom's comment here. There we go. 1 year before Bruins drafted Harrison, I tweeted, I hope the Bruins draft him all the tools, but that's where he's still at. He's still got all the tools, but of course he just saw success from driving the net. So maybe he can do that. Good puck tracking from
I
Corpusalo
saw
there.
that.
Who's wearing 45?
I think
Who
that's
just threw that
Harris
down? Was that
Asperon 45. Yeah.
Asperot? That's who it is, Asperot. Some of the numbers I'm just not used to seeing, but that was a good get in your face moment.
Oh yeah, Asprot just leveled Ryan Leonard, which I'm sure the Caps are not. They're not going to be too happy about that. Well, yeah, Leonard went after the whistle too,
No.
so he kind of deserves it. No, going back to Barry too.
Oh, was that a cross check to the face,
No,
or did he just
I
sell
don't.
that
He
really
sold. He
well?
sold that. I don't. It was definitely not that high. Ooh, Patrick Brown captain today.
Yeah, no, that was shoulder. That was
Yeah,
shoulder.
back to Barry, former Mid Fairfield Junior Ranger and Brunswick School, player Joseph Salandra, also USA Holinka Gretzky Cup gold medalists. He's having a great season with Barry. I love keeping tabs on like these Connecticut guys. I see these names. I'm like, wow, dude. I remember these guys. I remember, having friends that play against them or play with them. It's like it's very cool to see.
I just got a notification about the incredible night Christian McCaffrey is already having in the first quarter.
Well, it's 0-0 in the Red Sox game, so that's good, especially with rookie pitcher starting.
Let me just.
As soon as this game is over, I'm throwing on the Red Sox. I'm gonna have to like order pizza too. I'm gonna have a great we're gonna keep the great night going.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, no, McCaffrey's having a hell of a night. 24 rush yards, 44 receiving, 5 receptions, 8 rush attempts, and a touchdown. So he's having himself a night. I think he might help me win 2 weeks this week. Oh yeah.
Steve's on a breakaway.
Another deep.
Oh my god, dude. Steve's cannot buy a goal.
I'm at 1728. Where are you at?
1708.
Oh wow. Let me just check and see if my internet just lagged because that's been happening. I just saw the Steve's breakaway. 1655 I just jumped to. Dom, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully we can get you on again soon. Hopefully everything is going well. A few things I'm going to connect with Jan at some point. But thank you for tuning in, and you enjoy a good night, and tell your grandson we said hello as well.
Yeah, let him know I didn't swear either.
I might have.
Oh, Chris, he sold us.
I think I
Chris,
did.
he sold us here.
Oh, look at that save from Corpusalo.
I don't know if you saw Patra got absolutely leveled. Oh, 2-on-1. Come on.
Oh, Patra leading a 2-on-1
Yeah.
too. Oh, and he gets that one poked away. That was some good defense.
That was
though.
some good defense.
Good stick work. That was stick work that you'd see from Brandon Carlo.
Yeah, there was literally no play on that one. I would like to see Patra as soon as he sees the player kind of bearing down a little bit, maybe sauce that over. He waited a little too long, but that.
Yeah, I think he waited too long on that one.
As soon as you see a player go down like that, you got to turn on the jets too. You can cut wider because he's not going to be able to get up and catch you. So as soon as he goes down, you got to make a play.
Corpusalo with the back tap. See, look at how squared up Corpusalo is. Even when he dropped down, he was still able. The way he dropped down, he left it open for the wraparound, and he got the pad over.
That was a nice save.
Like when DiPietro makes a similar move, he's over committed to that left post, and that goes in by a hair. Also, he doesn't have the size, so he needs to be a little bit more reactive to make up for it, and he's just not there. In the AHL, that wraparound occurs a little slower. The commitment can be made to the initial shot a little slower, and therefore he's able to hold it back and make that save.
Yeah.
It's the speed of the game that is different, and that's why at one level it's a goal, and at the other level it's not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I do like what I've seen from Hustadinov down the middle.
I'm not I'm not gonna lie. This first line has not impressed me at all tonight. I think Lysell had one nice play. Other than that, this is just
no one's impressed.
Not good.
Like, I can't even say Brett Harrison is impressed. He's had one good play that resulted in a goal. 3-on-2, though, we got some odd numbers. What the hell kind of pass was that?
It was a saucer pass, but it got batted down.
Well, I know that. I know what kind of pass it was, but it was right at the guy. I didn't even see who knocked it down. It went a foot, and then it got knocked down.
I don't know. Like I said, I thought Patra played well so far, but Other than that, I haven't really been impressed by anybody.
Again, he's played well, but hasn't done much to just wow. You know what I mean? Like,
it's difficult to like again. I'm trying not to be like I really don't care. I just want the team to be the best that it possibly can
okay,
be. But I like how are you supposed to wow somebody when you keep making passes and keep setting up breakaways? If Alex Steve scores on half of them, Patra has 3 assists tonight. So
okay, hold on though. Here's where low qual Bruins fan Ian, shout out on Twitter, just sent this out. You've got a 3-on-2 and you all skate in a perfectly straight line. What are we doing right now?
that is a
All right. That's the bigger issue.
yeah.
What are we doing here? I feel like Taylor Twellman in his meme. What are we doing here? All right.
It's just I think I believe it was Husnudinov in the middle. Husnudinov should be cutting towards the net, and then Lysell should be backing up, and that just did not happen at all. So
Right, but when you have multiple breakaway opportunities, the way the Bruins have had multiple odd man rushes, you've got to find the back of the net more than on that Tufty goal and that Brett Harrison goal.
I definitely agree. Like I said, Patra set up Steve's a few times. There's just been wow. Okay, you're gonna see this play in a few seconds. Blumel read that perfectly. I'll wait till you see it.
The one that just knocked up in the air. I got Lorai with it at the blue line. Threw it behind the net. I'm at 13 minutes left.
13. Okay, then you might have seen it. Blumel jumped the play, got into a breakaway,
down.
but didn't score.
But like even that shot from Yoki Haru, what the fruit? I have like 2 or 3 fantasy hockey drafts left, and one of them just got moved to 10 p.m. on Monday.
Jesus.
Keep in mind, this is a redraft for this league. We drafted a week ago, and then someone decided that they didn't like their lineup enough. They threw a little hissy fit and dropped everyone on their roster, and then they threw a fit. They were like, I asked to not be in this league again 3 weeks ago. And we're like, dude, really? And of course, no one knew what he was doing until like the 6th or 7th player got dropped. And so people went in and scooped up some of the players because they just looked like normal moves, you know? Like you weren't really paying much attention. And then all of a sudden he went in and drop. And like he's dropping decent, good name players. And we're just like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I said 3 weeks ago. It's like, dude, you logged in and drafted the team.
Dude, those are like the people that like when you were back on like the schoolyard, you're playing tag until they got tagged, and then it's like, dude, I'm not even playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Shut the fuck.
Oh, he just got all upset and all these things because, of course, I called him out on it. I was like, dude, you logged in, you drafted the team. Like, you asked one time, and we said, like, someone said, we need to get a replacement for you. We will work on finding a replacement for you. Like, he knew that they were actively looking to replace him. He then goes, I guess this was in a separate thing where he's like, oh, I found someone, gave the email. The guy couldn't figure out how to take over the team. Let's be honest. It's a Yahoo fantasy football, fantasy hockey league that's free. It's not hard to do. It ain't exactly rocket science. So the way this guy was getting all upset and whatever, I'm like, gee, I can't imagine why this guy wasn't smart enough to figure out to take over your team. And then, of course, he logged in, drafted the team last week, waits a week, doesn't say anything else, and then just starts dropping the players.
You already know if that team was good, nothing would have been said.
Exactly. He was all upset. And I know he logged in and drafted because he sniped Morgan Geeky out of me. I had him queued up to be my next pick 2 picks later, and he sniped them from me.
Crazy. You said free?
It was late in the draft,
too?
but yeah, this one's free.
Then who cares?
Like, I literally didn't plan on doing it again. Like, if enough people were like, I didn't want to do it, I'd be like, yeah, you can replace me too. Or like, I just stayed in it to keep the number at, I don't even remember how many teams, whatever it is. I think it's like 18 or 20. Like, I wasn't going to drop out and be the guy who's like, yeah, you got to replace me in a 20-person league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also free, so like it doesn't
When
really
it's free, I was just like, who cares? Exactly. I was just like, it's free. I don't care that much. If I don't win, I'm not losing anything other than, oh, I forgot to set my lineup. But now I got to go through and redraft the entire thing because this guy decides to be a 4-year-old. Like, I kid you not, my daughter's been more mature than this guy was for the last freaking 16 years, and she turns 16 in a week and a half. I'm like, dude, you're a grown ass adult. Act like it.
I would have played. I would have hopped in. It's just not that big a deal.
I actually cut back this year from the number of leagues I'm normally in. But I still have two or three left to do drafts for.
How's your team looking in that league?
Which one? The one that the one I was just talking about, I have to redraft.
Oh yeah. I would be pissed. Like if I had a really good team and then this guy did that shit, I'd be like, bro, no.
I was happy with mine. I mean, I wasn't as thrilled with my goaltending as I wanted to be, but as soon as I saw that he dropped Jeremy Swayman, I was like, fuck yeah.
You're like, oh my god, I just got a steal. And then it's like, nah.
I was like, hell yeah, I'll grab him. And then I realized, oh crap, all right. Of course, then we were trying to figure out like what do we do, like, and it just became one of those things where it's like we had so many moves to figure out how to undo. It's just like fuck it, redraft because we got someone new taking over the team. It's not even the team they picked. Like,
yeah,
you got to redraft at that point. I got to say though, I'm glad I didn't take Barkov in any of my other drafts that have already occurred.
Oh yeah, that's brutal. That's also it sucks too because that's a huge piece for Finland as well in the Olympics. So
yeah, that's rough. I don't think he'll play at all this season. To be honest,
he probably won't. He definitely won't be back.
I think they'll wait and then end up
to the Olympics. So that's all I care about.
Yeah. I mean, for him, yeah, that's really all that is that you're gonna care about. I don't know. I can pull up my teams here and show you if you really care enough.
Let's hear them. I mean, we got 10 more minutes.
I'm in a few of them.
So.
Let's see. Actually, I'll pull this one up. This one, our buddies over at Something's Brewing are running their annual here, and let me try and pull this up. Of course, right now I'm lagging on the game. I don't know if it's just my connection or if it's actually the feed from Nesson. I would not be surprised if it's the feed from Nesson, though.
I don't know if you've been on Twitter a lot, but I've heard so many people complain about the feed, and also I've heard about the audio, which I obviously can't hear because I have it muted. But I've heard not great things. People are very not happy.
Oh, it's been terrible. It has been absolutely terrible. It probably doesn't help that I have like all my RAM like directed to 9 other apps as well on my computer.
That's probably compounding everything.
Yeah. There we go. I'll quit a few of those programs. One of the other projects that I'm working on for us here is I'm working on putting our old episodes out on our. I'm working on getting our YouTube channels caught up on old content. But in order for me to do it right, I'm going through and watching each and every one of them to try to get a good description for it. So, because of the move, I've only been able to get one done. It was the original airing premiere episode of Dom Hockey, the podcast, when we went in and went through every single one of the prospects. I think it was 2 years ago at this point.
Wow.
So it was interesting to go back and look at what we were saying and how accurate some of what Dom's models have had to say in the past. So
Yeah, did you see
But if you want to go down this lane,
what I texted you though the other day
which
about
thing? We've been doing a lot of texting
the website?
about
No,
Nesson.
about your website. Like you can't click on any like the top stuff. Do you like I don't know.
I'll have to take a look at it.
So let's see. So like you can't click on like partners, you can't click on meet the team, you can't.
Oh yeah, those links aren't live
Oh,
yet.
okay. Because I was like, oh, you can't click on any of these. I was trying to see, about the shows and all that. Well, actually, you can click.
The live show, that one is live just because it's got our schedule, which we haven't really taken a dive into the Tuesday show just yet. Obviously, right now we're kind of at a standstill with waiting for leagues to actually get underway and play every
Yeah.
weekend. So we'll probably throw some Tuesday shows in there as well. And then Gail and I have actually been running at 6:30, so that's been consistent there. But those other links, I'm still working on all the back end stuff, so they're not ready to be published. Again, moving has slowed so much down. It's been a pain in the ass because you got to do the packing and then the moving and then the unpacking, and God, this place is still a disaster from all that.
I can only imagine.
But
I had to
so
move, so
yeah, well, don't. I've moved way too many times.
I'll have to next year when I go to college. When I go to an actual, 4-year college.
I have to pull up the point system for this because once we go through, I'll have to explain some of the picks here. This is the one for Mike and Mel, Sully and Mel's league over here. I don't even remember what pick I had. I was in the middle. I think I was like, oh God, how many? I'm trying to remember how many teams this is. Let me see if I can get that. We got what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 team league, and I think I was picked 7 or 8. So not exactly the greatest position to be in. Let's start with my goaltending here. So for the goaltending, right? You can see that okay?
Aiden Hill, Dustin Wolf, Lucas Dostal.
So a win is 7 points. That's why I went with Aiden Hill first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A save is 0.8 points. A shutout is 10 points. Did you know that Lucas Dostal had 5 shutouts last year?
Not off the top of my head.
And then a goal against is minus 5 points.
Ooh.
I really like how Anaheim has redone their defense. Vegas has a really good defense. Obviously, they're not going to be like top 2 in the league in defense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not expecting that.
-5 for a goal against.
But
Wow.
yeah. That's why I went heavy on wins and shutouts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Tell me Aiden Hill isn't going to be prime for a bunch of shutouts this season. He had 4 last year.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, like when you're picking where I was, I was already out the Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky. Someone had snagged Swayman. I ended up taking all 3 goaltenders with 3 straight picks, just so I could make sure that I got 3 halfway decent ones. And considering the fact that my worst is Lucas Dostal, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's also nice if you can move mid-season if you need something on forward or defense. You can move a nice goalie piece, maybe get a lesser goalie, but also you can bolster a little bit up front.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and shrink this a little bit so you could try and see everybody. Can you still see that okay?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. So goals are worth 6 and assists are worth 4. My first 2 picks were Mikko Rantanen and Mitch Marner. Hits are worth 1.5 and blocks are worth 1.5, and that's why I have to go to Joshua. Did you know he had 400 hits last season?
No.
He led the league in hits with like 401.
That's crazy.
And that's why I have on my bench Simone Benoit as a backup defenseman, and why Jacob Trouba is on my roster because of the hit count and the block count. And also, let's be real, Jacob Trouba is going to put up better offensive numbers with some of the new offensive players they have in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Let's see. My goal scorers, though, my scorers are going to be Thomas, Scheifele, Rantanen, Marner. Power play goals are worth more.
Really?
Hence why I took Line. Yeah. Power play goals are worth 8 points and power play assists are worth 6. So a power play assist is worth the same as a regular goal. My defense, I have Lane Hudson. I have Ivan Demidov. I'm going to get some power play time in there with Montreal.
Yeah.
Patrick Laine. I'm like, I'm just going to go heavy on power play specialists here. It's a weird scoring system, so I had to draft. Oh, by the way, Steven Stamkos with 14 power play goals last year in a down year.
That's crazy.
Pavel Dorofeyev had 13 power play goals last year. Patrick Laine 15. I'm like, I'll take it.
Solid.
For such a weird scoring
That is an
system, I
odd
was like,
scoring
I'll
system.
take this. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, as soon as I guarantee you, I confused a number of people when I took Dakota Joshua because that dude is going to hit things in Toronto.
Who made that league? Like,
that's Sully and Mel's from Something's Brewing. So it's a weird lineup. I will fully admit that, but given the scoring system, I was like, this has got to go weird.
Red Sox getting fricks right now.
Oh, what's the score over there?
3-0 Yankees.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I have to say too, in fantasy football this year, I got so lucky in my family league because I ended up with, I think it was the 4th or 5th pick overall. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where's the draft? Draft results. Oh no, I was 8th overall in that league. And so by that point, the best player on the board, I took him. It was Christian McCaffrey. And that dude has carried me so many weeks this year.
That's crazy. I am not in any fantasy leagues for anything this year. I don't know why. I dropped everything.
Yeah, I was trying to cut back and then I didn't. It's just, although I will say this though, the good thing about not cutting back is every week someone in my family sends out a $5 DraftKings lineup option. I've already won it 3 weeks this year.
Free money.
And I'm in first again this week already. You know who's carrying me to victory in that one too is Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey.
No, I get so bored of like fantasy leagues, especially anything like football, baseball. Hockey's usually like the only one that I keep up with. Every other league is just, I don't know, it gets really boring for me.
Yeah, it just eventually I get to a point where a few people ask, and then like I mean I'm asked, I turn a lot of people away, and then eventually some certain people ask, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
or I'm just in 3 or 4. I've been in for years where I'm like, I'm too lazy to just tell them no.
well, it's also hard, like, because some of the leagues, it's like if I'm gonna be playing with people who are like knowledgeable and decent, like those are leagues that are fun to play in. But some leagues like the balance
Yeah,
is like completely off, especially with hockey where like you have six people who know what they're talking about, and then you have to like just grab two random people because like you need to fill out the 8-person league or whatever. Like those are the leagues I'm like, yeah, no, lose
yeah.
interest.
And I had years where I was doing commissioning, and I was just like, no, nope, nope, nope,
Oh yeah, you want to talk about people being
never.
babies? Holy shit! They try you commission a league, everybody complains. Nobody's ever happy.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
I will say this too. Vetoing trades, dumbest thing ever. Putting it to a vote to veto a trade,
No, no,
dumbest thing
no.
ever.
I never had a vote on it. It's usually commissioners ruling, and then you got to keep it fair, like because like I said,
Well, no, that's just it.
there's two people, like you have six people, then you have two people in the league that like don't know what they're doing, and you're like, no, no, you cannot trade David Pastrnak for Dylan McElrath. You can't do it. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work. Like,
Right.
and then one person's
Right.
pissed off. They're
No.
like, what? No, like and then it's just like, dude, that's so unfair.
And it's also one of those things though where like at a certain point I just sit there and I go, look, in a real league in the NHL, if the Rangers and Ducks agree on a trade, Carolina doesn't get a veto vote.
Yeah, imagine how many
No matter
times
how unfair the deal is.
I would veto every trade. Like if I wanted to trade for somebody and then you were just like,
Oh, that pass was just too
yeah,
far.
I I didn't like that decision to try because you're gonna be offsides. Like it was a very you weren't gonna be able to make that pass. I don't know why Lysell sped up there. That's one where you have to
I don't know,
wait.
but he's done a good job to keep possession.
That's when you have to wait until you're onside to start moving.
Is that Hustadinov in front of the net trying to make shit
It's
happen?
hard to tell because they're two small Russians with Ov in their last name. So it's like, dude, you have no idea.
Yeah, that was Husnudinov. But 3 Bruins right there in the one spot, right in front in the slot, and they get one shot off. Oh man.
Well, on to 2026 for the baseball season. Red Sox down 4-0. At least it's hockey season.
Is this a 3-game
Yeah,
series?
it's over.
And okay.
Sox are not scoring four.
I don't I don't remember that they went I don't remember when they dropped down
Oh, Brett Harrison scored
to a
again?
2-game series.
Brett
Does
Harrison,
he? Oh,
empty
there's an empty
netter.
netter.
This was Brett Harrison's legacy game right here. We're all gonna remember this forever.
Bruins legend Brett Harrison. I don't get how they're winning 3-1 though.
Yeah. Jonas Corposalo. That's how they're winning 3-1.
I feel like I've been watching an AHL game all night.
I feel this game was just like boring. I feel like this game was just not like it felt like nothing happened. I mean, I guess that's how games feel when Riley Tufte and Brett Harrison are scoring. Like, you know nothing's happening.
Well, what's to be excited about in this game? Who stood out?
Corpusalo.
Like we got a minute left here. I was gonna say you
Wow, holy shit. Yep. Yeah, Callahan's not
what just
taking that.
happened?
You're gonna see it in a second.
Oh, that. Oh boy, Corpusalo went after him.
This is the problem. You got like AHL scrubs going up against like actual NHL players, and this is the shit that happens. Like, look at that. That's clearly covered. You're not making the team anyways, so you don't give a shit. And then there you go. Yeah.
I'm glad though that'll wake up Corpusalo though
Wow,
for the regular season. That'll get
he
him
doesn't need to
ready.
be woken up. He's playing well. And trust me, I've had a few. I've been on the
Corpusalo not taking any shit.
no. Listen, I'll be honest. I've been on the receiving end of a few of those blocker punches. Those things are there's no give. You're getting smacked straight in the face. That shit hurts. Oof.
Hey, man, shouldn't have been standing there.
Shouldn't have been poking around.
I mean, that puck is clearly covered.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's a bum too. Like nobody knows who this guy is. Like it's not like it's an NHLer that's doing this.
Rempel.
Yeah.
I'm just glad Corpusalo let him have it.
Yeah.
And then you see Tufte in there, Beecher's in there, Callahan is in there. And of course, he's all upset because people went after him. Wah. All right, so 3 positives, 3 negatives from this game. Let's wrap that up real quick and we'll wrap up here.
Yeah, then we'll go on our merry way. 3 positives. I'll go with Jonas Corpusalo, Brett Harrison, Matt Patra. 3 negatives. I'll make this really easy. Husnadinov, Lysell, Merkulov. 3. Those were definitely 3 negatives. Those guys should be getting demoted. This was an awful game for them.
Yeah, I can't really argue about the 3 positives. Corpusalo, Harrison, and Patra. I'm not even going to quibble over order. I mean, Corpusalo is your number 1 star of the game. Period. End of story. Brett Harrison's probably your number 2 just because he's got 2 goals, and then Tufte might be your number 3 because he helped you keep in this game with a goal. Jeez. As far as the 3 negatives, though, I didn't hate what I saw from Husnadinov. But there was nothing from Blumel. There was nothing from Minton. There was
Minton
nothing from Lysell.
So.
I'm sorry, not
Merkulov.
Yeah, well, of course not Minton. Merkulov is the one I was trying to get with. Like those 3 guys didn't do anything.
No, nothing.
And I'm more worried about Blumel and Lysell, just because Blumel looked good for a little bit, came out with his ass on fire, and has gone downhill since. He's still getting chances and can't capitalize. Fabian Lysell came out of the gate weak. He's gotten a little bit better, but not nearly enough.
No.
And then you have a game like this, which is a nothing burger for him. Like this is the chance. This is why Fabian Lysell is in Providence, because he's given a perfect opportunity to take over a game like this, and Brett Harrison is the one who does it.
Nobody should be upset that Lysell's going to the minors. He's had the most opportunities out of anybody. He's played in the same amount of games as anybody else, any of these bubble guys. So it's just obviously Merkulov, you kind of knew what was up with that when, he's placed in Group B, doesn't play the first few games. You already knew he earned a spot now. I mean, he earned a chance in this game. Didn't do anything. Blumel was just not good. Just wasn't good. He was kind of transparent. I know Michael came in earlier, was like, Patra does not deserve a spot over Steves. I completely disagree with that. I mean, Steves is just – both Blumel and Steves just don't – they are not scoring. They've had opportunities and aren't scoring. Steves has had way too many opportunities to not score. Blumel has just not been good. It's a little frustrating. Like, again, I don't want to overplay what happened.
Blumel has looked his best next to Middlestat. I will continue to say that. And I just don't think otherwise it's enough. And if you have to have him next to Middlestat for him to look good, I don't know if that's enough. I want it to be. I'm rooting for the guy. I don't know.
It's definitely Blumel's spot to lose. He's definitely going to get a spot, I believe, regardless of how these games turn out, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I think Blumel's definitely earned an opportunity at the NHL level, even though this hasn't been a great preseason for him. Patra, I think, is going to make the team, and I think Minton's going to make the team, and then everybody else is being sent down. Merkulov, Lysell, Harrison, everybody. So
they got one more game. I'm trying to. Is it Saturday?
I don't know. The schedule was weird. They took like 4 days off, and let's see.
Yeah, Saturday. Saturday at 2:00. They have one more game against the Rangers. It's a home game. That's going to be a Swayman start. That's going to be the dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
So the lineup we see for that is probably going to be your opening night lineup, barring any injuries. I just don't know what to expect from this team. And that's what we've been saying for months. I think their ceiling is much higher than people give them credit for. I just don't know if they're going to reach that ceiling. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I want to kind of leave on this, for me at least. This is
Yeah, I was going to say, any final thoughts here? We've been going for a little over 2.5 hours. So
I'll say that, this is probably going to be Lysell's 4th season starting in the AHL. And it's just training camp and preseason just has not been his thing. He's just not he didn't look great last season, did not look great this season. I think that you're going to start seeing a lot more rumors about these guys getting moved because there really was nothing here for Lysell. I was not impressed with Merkulov tonight. I was not impressed with Lysell so far this training camp. So
I will say this, though. I know I've seen and I've heard a few people talk about these players having negative attitudes and stuff like that. I have not seen or heard anything from a credible source to verify that any of these players have a negative attitude.
Yes, I have.
We've heard it in the past. We've heard it in the past, but we haven't heard anything recently that says Fabian Lysell has a bad attitude. If he had a bad attitude, he wouldn't have done what the team wanted him to do over the offseason. He's looked good. All of these players have been said they look good in practice, and when it gets to game time, they are overthinking things. I don't know why. I don't. Maybe that's a coach's scheme thing, and it works in practice, and I don't know. But the results just aren't there for too many of them. I don't think it's as big of a deal as we want to make it out to be, because they're going to adjust in Providence to the same system that they're playing in Boston. So any of these players who get sent down are going to have time to figure out the system more and possibly be much better because of being sent down.
Yeah.
So I know people want to panic because Fabian Lysell is going to go down to Providence again, but he's what, 21 years old?
Yeah.
Like, the dude can barely legally drink in this state. It's not the end of the world for him to not be an NHL player just yet. Like, it's just not. So between him, Merkulov is another one, Patra, Minton, and any of them. I mean, by the time you and I come back on here, we'll see what the final roster is. Gail and I are actually going to be doing a 1-hour pregame show next Wednesday, so we'll be live for that. Maybe we'll have you on that one just to get you some pregame action there.
Yeah.
Now that we'll have the final rosters, but do you have anything else? Any of the other stuff? I know we've got a bunch of other leagues that have barely started action, whether it's the USHL, the Q, the OHL. I mean, we're 3-4 games in most circumstances. KHL is still really tough to connect with. SHL is underway. Anything in any of those leagues that have stood out to you that you really feel the need to bring up, or any college commitments? I mean, the problem with college commitments now is they're all 1-2 years down the road.
Nothing that's been so crazy that we have to talk about. If there was anything crazy, I think we would have gotten to it during the stream, but I think I'm good right now.
I think so. I mean, we touched on some of the contract extensions and where those stand. So, with that, we'll look to be back to doing every week here. And with that said, we look forward to seeing everybody here next week, same time, Thursday night here, 6:30. And with that, we'll